Okay, we're probably live, and we are here in the garden with H.A. Goodman. Finally, I can't wait. H.A. Goodman is here. Just before I say who you are and what you are, welcome, brother. Welcome to the show. So glad to have you.
Nay, it is a pleasure and an honor for me to speak with you, and thank you so very, very much for inviting me.
Absolutely. So if you guys don't know, which I'm sure you do because we've been talking about him all week, H.A. Goodman is a columnist, a journalist, a podcaster, and he never says that, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal. We're going to talk about that later. He's published in the Huffington Post over 100 times, Salon, The Hill. He's been on MSNBC. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were on CNN too, correct? You had an appearance on CNN?
Yeah, this was during the Bernie days. Yeah.
So he was also he was discussing a Saturday Night Live skit on MSNBC where they were doing a thing about they were doing a thing about ISIS. Wrote in 2015 with almost 1 million Facebook likes about Bernie winning the Democratic voters' hearts. I wrote that down when I was really high. So, can you explain that? 1 million Facebook.
Well, the past year and a half, 2 years, I've been published in the Federalist and the Daily Caller because of, I began supporting President Trump about 2 years ago. So what took place was when I was on the left and I was, progressive or lifelong Democrat or have, just on the left my whole life. I was published in a lot of those left-leaning publications. And I remember in 2015, there was no way I was going to support Clinton. And Bernie Sanders was running and nobody was giving him a chance. And I wrote an article in the Huffington Post that said basically Sanders has taken the hearts and minds of Democrats, and it went viral. So a bunch of the articles that I wrote in 2016 went viral.
Okay, so let me pause right there, and let's get back to the fact that you are an author, and you always say that you're an author, and I didn't mention it because I didn't realize this, but you've written at least 3 books that I discovered on Amazon. Those books are available for you guys if you want. I believe they're downloadable as well.
Yeah, I mean, actually, there are 2 existential fantasy novels. One's Breaking the Devil's Heart, and one's Logic of Demons. And then the other ones are just political.
So there's 5 books total?
Yeah, there's about 3 Debunking the Trump-Russia Myth, but top secret emails.
I wanted to read the titles out, damn it! I wanted to read the titles out, man. I got them all right here. Yes. Debunking the Trump-Russia Myth.
If you have Kindle, it's all if you have Kindle, you can download them, yeah.
Okay, so it's Debunking the Trump-Russia Myth, How Democrats Pushed Another Cold War to Justify Clinton's Loss. And that was October 22nd, 2017. And it's by H.A. Goodman, it says right there. But this is a title, okay? It says, But Her Top Secret Emails, Clinton's Email Scandal and Why the FBI Will Recommend Espionage Act Indictments. And this is part of a series, in the second book in that series. It's But Her Deleted Emails, Haiti, the Clinton Foundation, Possible Treason, and 33,000 Deleted Emails, But Her Email Series, Book 2. These are the 3 books. And H.A., I did see those 2 books. They looked interesting, and I thought, okay, I didn't click on them because I thought maybe it was somebody else. I didn't realize that those were your books, those other 2.
Yeah, I think your audience might enjoy the Breaking the Devil's Heart and Logic of Demons because they're kind of like fun rides into the afterlife and a whole bunch of. Is there feedback? I'm hearing feedback.
What? I mean, is it bothering you? I've got you up really loud.
No, it's fine with me.
Okay, cool, good. As long as it's not bothering you.
Okay.
And if anybody else, if there's an audio problem, let us know in the chat.
But yeah, that's those were a labor of love. So
and can you just get into them just briefly? Both of them, are they roughly about the same material, or are they totally different?
Well, Logic of Demons and Breaking the Devil's Heart are there's book one and it's the sequel. So book one is Logic of Demons, and the sequel is Breaking the Devil's Heart. And I had like a plethora of positive and very favorable reviews and a whole bunch of fantasybookrareview.com
Nice.
gave me an 8 out of 10 for Breaking the Devil's Heart. Sciencefictionbook.com gave me a 4 out of 5 for Logic of Demons. So
Wow.
Kirkus has been they've been well reviewed, but I had to self-publish them just because they were completely out there.
Okay. I'm just kind of curious, like, what's the content like in them? I mean, just like a,
Well,
not a synopsis, but just like
the
an idea.
the idea is that there's an underground company that sells negative thoughts and nefarious intent. And this underground company is headed by a CEO. And then you have people in the afterlife trying to battle and save human beings from purchasing, like basically it's what I call formula that's being sold by this company basically in hell. So it's kind of explaining, it's kind of like the Faustus good and evil angel on a person's shoulders, where hell in this case is an actual company selling something, and good, or angels trying to save people, are battling this company that's selling this potion that people consume for whatever reason, and eventually commit evil acts or do really bad things. So it's kind of like this clash of opposing forces, and then you have like angels, and you have people in the afterlife battling this company. It's interesting.
Let me ask you this, because that sounds like something I would be interested in, actually, that kind of subject matter. Have you ever considered turning it into a movie? Because it sounds like the plot of a really good movie.
I had a whole bunch of literary agents. This is before I became a Trump supporter. So, like, if you're supporting President Trump, I don't think you can get a literary agent nowadays in a lot of these companies.
We're gonna talk about that later. I found
lot.
I found a hit piece on you, bro, and I'm sure you're aware of it.
Oh,
We'll get into that. We'll get into that later. But I can see, man, it's like you get blacklisted, man, just for your opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, you get it's nuts, but so I had a lot of interest in literary agents, a lot, but they said, well, it's a little bit too out there, so it's too far-fetched. So I just self-published both books,
Man,
and I mean, like I said, like sciencefictionbook.com gave 8 out of 10, and no, 4 out of 5, and then Fantasy Book Review gave it 8 out of 10 for Breaking the Devil's Heart. Logic of Demons got 4 out of 5 for Science Fiction Book Review. So they're fun books.
how many pages?
About 250 or 60 pages.
Each?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to write those two books? And were they
I
both?
forgot the exact. It's been years. I forgot the exact count in the hard copy, but it's around there.
What was the? How long did it take you to write it all?
It took me about a year and a half for each book.
Wow, that's not that bad, actually. When you consider you have this thing now, it's out there, and you only spent a year and a half doing it, and it's there, and it's there for everybody to read. I love that. So, you ready to move past that? I got some great questions for you, and
let's rock and roll.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you when I first started hating Hillary Clinton. Okay, I'm gonna tell you when I first started hating Hillary Clinton. I've had my ear to politics since after high school, slightly. And I wasn't really paying that much attention, but I'll never forget when Bill Clinton was president of the United States, and I heard that he was cheating on his wife, and that he had cheated on his wife before when he was governor. and that he cheated on her so many times that one of the women that he cheated on her with literally became famous. I mean, MTV video famous. And I thought to myself, wow, Hillary, he's really disrespected the heck out of you. And I've lost all respect for you. And that's when it was, man. It was way back before Bill Clinton was even president of the United States. And I was kind of curious. How about you?
Well, the main reason that I think the most important thing in American politics, the most important thing that we can do on this planet as the United States of America is to bring our soldiers home from these never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. I think that the regime changes and the interventions, toppling of dictators is infinitely more important than anything either side, especially than anything Democrats.
Can I pause you for 1 second?
Focus on.
Can I pause you on that thought? Jimmy Dore just was on Tucker Carlson, said that President Trump needs to start bringing troops home from Afghanistan, and like the next day,
I agree.
The next day, Trump announced he was bringing back 2,500 troops. And it was like he was listening to Jimmy Dore. So go on, because I agree with you. We need to bring these troops home from foreign wars. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I have a great deal of respect for Jimmy Dore. I think he's awesome. And yeah, I just think that, you know, the reason that I eventually went from Bernie Sanders to President Trump is because, see, for me, climate change is important. Yeah, I mean, it's a definitely a real crisis faced by the planet. But there's nothing unilaterally the United States can do immediately to fix and solve climate change.
Or ever.
You need China, you need India, you need a whole country.
Or
Yeah,
ever.
or ever.
Right.
And so our foreign policy, we dictate, we control, and tomorrow we could better the world by and mainly bring Americans back to their families, their kids, their sons, their daughters, their fathers, their mothers, their husbands, their wives. And that is something that we can do that would be immediate in terms of benefits to the country. Also, I think it's the biggest moral dilemma and you know, crisis we face as a country. You know,
HA, I'm sorry, man, to interrupt. I thought we were talking about Hillary, man, and about war hawkery.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So the reason
Happy
okay, so
420.
the reason that I disliked Clinton is because, I mean, I don't hate her. The reason that I always opposed Clinton and felt that she was a really horrendous candidate and said she would lose in 2016 and she ended up losing. The reason that I was so against Clinton is because she was advised by neoconservatives. She's a hawk. She helped destroy Libya. She voted alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld as senator. And so she would actually be to the right of President Obama, who already destroyed Libya with his foreign policy.
It was so shocking to find out everything that I found out about Barack Obama between you and Jimmy Dore and Lee Camp. Man, I've heard he is a monster. He was a monster. He really was.
Well, I think that what the problem we face as a country is that you have all of these morally superior, morally righteous, pure as the driven snow, liberal, progressive, left-leaning people, and that if you say something wrong, you're dead. You're fucking done. If you say something wrong on Twitter or like, you know, I don't have Twitter because of a death threat that, you know, we can talk about later, but like Facebook or Twitter, I don't have. I just have my YouTube channels, but if you say something wrong in cyberspace, your life is over. They will cancel you in a split second, but they'll be okay with Americans for 20 years in Iraq, Afghanistan, being sent to Syria. So President Obama sent Americans to Syria. President Obama's got us into Yemen. All of these issues, and you had Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, the Lincoln Project people, who backed Clinton. These people destroyed and destabilized regions of the world, the Middle East. You look at what took place in Libya since President Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, And Clinton would have turned the country even more militant. So we went from Bush to President Obama, who continued many of Bush's interventionist foreign policy. See, the rebuttal from the left will be like, well, Trump, fired missiles. Like, that's bad too. I'm against that. But he didn't topple a dictator. That's the point. He didn't send hundreds of thousands of Americans overseas. And he wanted to bring them home. So I just think that that's the biggest moral crisis we face. It's not the hierarchy of issues on the left. Bringing home Americans is not even on the radar. So they don't even that's not even on the radar. They'll talk about imperialism, things like that, but it's not like saying the words bringing home American soldiers is not on the radar. And I just think that that's the biggest issue, because you know what? I mean, they talk about climate change being an existential threat. Okay, perhaps it is, but tomorrow we can get into a nuclear confrontation, and there goes the planet. And we had that with the Cold War. We were always on the brink of nuclear annihilation. Now the Democrats spent 4 years blaming Facebook ads and saying Russia must pay because of Twitter bots and the DNC hack and all of this. And it's like, you just created a new Cold War with a former Cold War adversary that has nukes. That potentially, if we had, Clinton wanted a no-fly zone above Damascus in Syria. Well, that would be like Top Gun 2 or 3. It'd be like the end of the world if we had to go against Russian jets, shoot down a jet, or they shot down one of our jets. Nightmare. It's like these things, it would be game over. Right. So that's what Clinton and the left is like totally fine with it. Like, they don't even care as long as they police you on cyberspace, it's fine, So I don't think that's really the reason why. Like, look, if Clinton was the anti-war candidate and Bernie Sanders or President Trump was the person sending Americans off forever, I would like Clinton. Sure. So that's my main. But then there were other issues too, like, Trump goes up against corrupt intelligence officials, lots of things. So, but that was my real, what fueled my dislike of Clinton.
Well, want to just take a moment, because at the beginning of every interview, I like to let you promote where my audience can find you. So I always tell everybody to subscribe to you on YouTube, on your YouTube channel. And would you please tell everybody the names of your channels?
Yeah, you can go to hagoodman.com. So my website is finally up, and it's taking a little while, but the pandemic and everything, just lots of things took longer than expected, but it looks fantastic. You can subscribe to the newsletter. You can read my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, a whole bunch of places, the Roanoke Times, and I debated Richard Spencer, and I debated Jordan Sather, and I have other debates on my channel, but that's on there also, because I definitely oppose everything those two stand for, vehemently. And you can sign up for the newsletter and definitely subscribe to. I have another channel also. It's H.A. Goodman's other channel. You can subscribe there too. So
okay, fantastic.
But H.A. Goodman on YouTube, yeah.
So
we're almost at 155,000 subs.
Congratulations.
So then hopefully 200,000.
Just as an aside, I remember when I was on YouTube and I was doing really well, and this new guy came on YouTube. I mean, you came out of nowhere. What year did you start your first channel on YouTube?
My channel has grown very slowly over the years. It's just barely at 155,000 now, because a lot of time I did live streams a lot, but like I started in like late 2015. I would do one a week.
So okay,
2016.
Let me tell you something. You started your YouTube channel in 2015. You started it?
No. Like 2016, I really started it. Like late 2015.
Do you know what's crazy?
But that's
so I had already climaxed and they literally shut my entire channel down by 2013.
Why?
Because I got three strikes on my channel, so they took the whole channel down. I was making money through AdWords or Google Ads or add something, whatever it was. And I was able to call them on the phone, and I said, hey, this was a couple weeks later, and I was just so depressed. I lost my channel. And I said, hey, I got a channel with 25,000 subscribers. It got 3 strikes. And they're like, why did you get 3 strikes? I'm like, because I got trolls that are hitting me, and it's not even things that I do. And they're like, what's the name of your channel? And I said, Trendy As Dabbers. And they were like, go check your channel. I mean, AJ, I swear it was just like that. It wasn't even 15, 20 seconds. They said, go check your channel. And I go, no, my channel's, I remember the conversation. I go, no, my channel's down. You guys deleted it. And they're like, no, pull your channel up right now, dude. And I was like, okay. And boom, my channel was back. No strikes. Everything was there. Everything. And it was all AdWords or Google Ads or whoever.
Who was trolling you?
At the time,
Just crazy people. Just crazy people.
I can't remember the exact strike that got me. I was getting strikes that were saying that I was bullying people, and it's a tough one, man, because I am rough and tough on my channel, and it's not hard for when someone looks at it to say, yeah, he's bullying people. And so I literally had to change the way that I do my podcasts. So I can't bully my audience anymore. I just block them.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's enough about all that. We're going to get into that later. But I've got so many questions for you. And I think this is an important one because this is something that we talk about on my channel frequently. What are your thoughts on what's going on with Julian Assange?
Well, I mean, look, I want him to be I want him to be free. I think that what took place with Julian Assange is just horrendous, and I think he should be free. I think that I don't think he did. I think that he's a publisher, and so if he's going to prison, or if he's in prison for publishing information, then the Washington Post and the New York Times, and I mean, they published, and the Guardian, they published the same emails he published. So I just think that he should be free. I think it's definitely a travesty, and I think that it's sadly political retribution I mean, I know that a lot of people disagree with me, but it's from the same establishment that wanted to silence and undermine President Trump.
No one here is going to disagree with that. That sentiment that you're giving now, no one's going to disagree with you here, brother.
I understand.
You're among friends,
I understand
for sure.
I understand that President Trump's administration is doing the same things. I get that. I understand that. I would just say that the momentum and the vitriol against the momentum to hurt Julian Assange and the vitriol against him is coming from primarily the Democratic Party and the Republican Party that doesn't like President Trump. I don't think that I wish that Trump's administration would pardon him. I wrote about that twice in the Daily Caller and also in the Times of Israel.
Thank you for doing that.
But I think it's just a travesty. I really do.
It's really good, man, because I always tell everybody, and I love that you say this. Let me amplify your voices. If you agree with what I'm saying, I'm here to speak for all of us. So like you say, subscribe to H.A. Goodman, support him and amplify him so he, more people will hear his voice. It's in a situation like this that you can't yell it loud enough from a high enough mountaintop because it's not going to change a thing. We are in a situation with Julian Assange where he is a scapegoat. And they've got him by the balls, man. They're not going to let him go. And we sit here helplessly and watch, Do you ever think, what if it was you? Because you're in that business. you ever put yourself in his shoes and be like, wow, this could have happened to me if I pissed the wrong people off, or, you know? Because I think about
Let's
shit
put
like
it
that.
this way. Let's put it this way. I think with the way things are now, anyone who's not careful could end up in prison, or anyone who's. Let's put it this way. I just think that, and for speech, unfortunately, for speech, but what happened with Julian Assange, I think, is because they didn't get him on. They didn't charge him on anything to do with Russia. So it has what he there's nothing that he did that they didn't charge him on working with Russia because they made up the whole thing. So they got him on technicalities that they would never have if a Washington Post reporter did the same thing as Julian Assange, but it was benefiting the Democratic Party.
Yeah, they'd walk.
I mean, just the other like 2 years ago or a year ago, there was an anonymous link on the Washington Post. If you had information on Donald Trump Jr.'s one of his businesses, or yeah, like I think it was like one of the businesses. There was like a
Charity?
link that you could actually just give.
Like they said he was bilking
Huh?
a charity or something. Was it a charity for children or something?
It wasn't. It
Was
wasn't
that
the
something
charity
different?
thing. It was like
Okay.
literally just one of the businesses.
Okay.
That there was a link that you could actually, a secure link that, let me see if I could find it, that the Washington Post was talking about.
They're like, give
secure
us,
link.
yeah, send us your information if you have any. You can be,
Yeah,
you'll
like,
be anonymous.
They still have it. It's
Protect
called
you.
Secure Drop.
Wow.
So what is Secure Drop? The Washington Post Secure Drop is a discreet way for readers to share messages and material with our journalists.
It's Big Brother's.
So-
It's Big Brother's jacket lapel pocket. Here, drop this in Big
Yeah,
Brother's
exactly.
pocket. Oh, it's so creepy. It's so creepy.
What steps
Oh.
are taken to protect my privacy and anonymity?
It's so creepy.
So I mean, they have the same thing.
Mm.
And if they got a copy of Trump's taxes, which would send anyone to prison, that person wouldn't be going to prison because it would be against Trump and the Washington Post and Hollywood, and every judge in D.C. would say, let me just think, is there anything we can do to prevent this person from going to prison? But the Washington Post has the same thing as WikiLeaks.
All right, so
It's interesting. I mean, they have Secure Drop, but they get away with it.
I'm gonna move on to something completely different and non-political at all. This is I like watching your videos. I'm guilty. I watch hours and hours of you, bro. I really do. I have questions about your backdrop.
I'm honored, man.
Sometimes I sit there and I look at like, who's Joey Ramone standing next to in that picture in your other room. Your other room, not this room, not this wall. Yeah, your other wall.
Oh, that's Lemmy from Motorhead.
That's what I thought. I should have said it. I should have said, is that Lemmy? I should have said it. I feel bad because I was like, who else could that be?
Hey, come on, man.
I'm so sorry, man. Okay, so I knew it. Why didn't I open my fat mouth? But anyhow, so I do watch you for I spend a lot of time watching your show. I really appreciate the time that you spend doing what you do. And I'm just kind of curious, man.
Thank you.
Do you ever go on YouTube, and is there like a podcaster that live streams that you like to watch?
I mean, there's a lot of great ones. I watch Tim. I watch like a lot of like Tim Pool, Sticks X and Hammer.
I watch Tim Pool.
I watch. I watch Black Conservative Patriot. There's, Mark Dice.
Mark
Steven
Dice.
Crowder,
Mark Dice, Steven Crowder. Let's stop right there. Can we stop right there? Mark Dice and Steven Crowder.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what those guys are really good at doing, both of them. They're really good at putting together an argument to support their whatever it is they're trying to whatever point it is they're trying to make. And they find almost 100% factual data to back up their arguments Then when somebody comes up to them and they're like, prove me wrong, they'll be like blah 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 blah, and they'll be like, fact number 1, fact number 2, fact number 3, and by the time they've gotten to the 4th fact, the other people, they've either walked away or they can't handle it, they can't hang, they don't know what to do, and these guys use those methods as like arrows in a quiver when they're, and you know what? I know somebody else who's really good at that, and his name is H.A. Goodman. Do you realize that you do that too? That you build up really strong.
I appreciate that, man.
You're like a lawyer, bro. You have so many points right now, and I don't want to get into it. Because I've already gotten into it on my channel. We're not going to get political, but I'm just going to say this. H.A. Goodman has a whole wealth of points that he can make to argue the point that Donald Trump won the election. And I listen to you talk about it all the time, and I can recite almost all of your points. I'm really proud of the fact that I can do it. But not to get you to pontificate on it, because I want my audience to go to your channel and listen to you.
What's a good thing also? Like, one reason that I'm able to like do all of that is that as a lifelong Democrat. See, I was a lifelong. Trump was the first Republican I ever voted for, literally. I still am registered as a Democrat. I tried to get out of it. It's like the mafia; they keep you back in. But you can see vantage points, and see, I know the Achilles heel of the left. I know, like, they have like not only one Achilles heel, they have like 30, and so like I know what. When they pontificate, they do so with political amnesia, because they forget, oh, well, if you're trying to say how wonderful you are on this issue, well, X, Y, and Z, you took, lobbyist money, and you presided over the largest expansion of domestic oil and gas production of any president, or you deported more human beings than any president. But see, the thing is, it's like the one thing, like, see, and like Republicans. Let me tell you, Republicans also are like, the political party, very disingenuous in a lot of ways too. The difference, though, is that in this day and age, like the Bush era Republicans were horrendous because they had media and intelligence officials on their side. Now the Democrats are just as horrendous. Or almost just as horrendous, because
they were trying to fuel the military-industrial complex at the expense of people's lives. That's what the Bush administration was doing. They said, let's start a war, and who cares who dies? The military-industrial complex needs to make a lot of money, and the vice president made a lot of money off of that war. I understand. That Bush administration. I understand.
Yeah.
It was a machine.
Yeah. So I mean, there's this that I don't have like, this is like, I don't have political allegiances like to where I have to distort my viewpoint to fit that allegiance. The left does, and the right does too. But I like, it wasn't like when people say like, it wasn't popular to become a Trump supporter.
Do you ever call yourself an independent?
Like,
you ever call yourself an independent that supports Donald Trump? Or are you a full-on, do you consider yourself a Republican?
I'm pretty much an independent. I thought that I was a progressive back in like years back, but I don't even know what that word means.
To me, progressive means Medicare for all, universal basic income, and trying to get us out of foreign wars and taking that money and spreading it around to the poor. That's what it means to me. It's basic stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty much politically independent. Like, for example, if it's Tulsi Gabbard versus, Ben Sass, who I can't stand, who's like...
Or what about Nina Turner? Are you familiar?
Republican.
You're familiar with her politics, Nina Turner?
Nina Turner is I respect her greatly. I think she's fantastic.
It's really nice to hear you say that.
If it was like, like a Nina Turner or Tulsi Gabbard versus a Ben Sass or Mitt Romney, I would support Nina Turner and Tulsi Gabbard, because they actually want to bring home Americans from wars.
Yes.
The President Trump wants to bring home Americans from wars. So if I will support anyone who wants to bring home Americans from wars, if the Lincoln Project is supporting somebody, I'm voting for the opposite. I'm voting for the opposite.
So what is it? Is that four guys? Is it four guys and they're all tied into big industry that's involved with war? Is that it?
Four guys
in the Lincoln Project? Isn't it four guys? Or no?
I think there's I think there's like a bunch of people in the Lincoln Project.
I don't know.
I think it's like a bunch of
I just thought one of them was.
I'm not really sure.
Was what's her name?
I understand the people. There are people who started it. I know that the people who started it, but it's basically like the Bush administration that Trump like stuck his boot in their rear end and kicked them out. Huh. The former neoconservative, former marriage amendment people. That's another thing that the Democrats forget.
Marriage amendment. What? No. What is? I'm sorry. What's marriage amendment?
Well, Bush ran on a marriage amendment preventing gay people from getting married in 2004. They wanted to actually. Well, they want actually. That's fucked up. Yeah, they want to add an amendment to the Constitution preventing gay marriage, or marriage within the LGBT community. So, but that was these are the Lincoln Project people that they're even like in left-leaning publications now, and it's like the Democrats are like, oh, these are the good Republicans. Like, no, these are the worst examples of Republicans.
Thank you so much for sharing the information, though, because that's what I tell my audience is that you know a lot of stuff, man. You bring a lot of facts, and I didn't know that. I did not know that, and so you just educated me a little bit.
Thank you.
So, do you ever argue politics with your family members?
Not anymore.
You still have? Do you still have family members? Do they still talk to you?
I'm
maybe that's the next question.
Living myself in Montana. No. I don't. Right next to the Unabomber. No, I'm joking. But no, I don't talk politics with friends or family because I've had a couple of my friends, more than about 4, who I've known for like 30 years, each of them, and they turned into the fucking, what was that? In Lord of the Rings, the little like
Gollum, my precious Gollum.
Yeah. They turned into Gollum quickly, and it was like, actually, it wasn't quickly. It was like, oh, okay, and then one day it was they just either stabbed me in the back. Pertaining to something they shouldn't have, or like 2 of them did, and then the others suddenly found this left-leaning conscience where they care about issues they never cared about before, and it's like I would try to explain, well, President Obama was worse on these issues. Yes, just as bad, but
Jimmy Dore.
They're not having it.
Watch Jimmy Dore. He exposes Obama so often. Yes.
Yeah, and so it's not. See, this is the thing. It's like I didn't realize people took it not only that seriously, but I didn't realize it would consume people. It consumed people. I could never imagine saying, if you don't vote for Bernie Sanders, if you don't vote for President Trump, if you don't vote for Trump, I'm not going to be your friend anymore.
Voter shaming. Voter shaming.
Yeah,
do you know what HA? Let me pause you for a second there, because this is what happened to me. When Trump got into office, I got really angry and upset, and I went through my whole Trump derangement syndrome on my own. It drove me crazy, and
I remember seeing
diagnosed.
I don't know how, but I remember seeing a post of yours, and it's funny because but I remember seeing a post of yours shortly after President Trump won, and I'm like, oh, Nays hates Trump. But this was you gotta understand, like, this was because when we reconnected like a month ago, I was like, oh nay, because like, but so many things have happened, and like I'm like, oh, okay, that's right. But I remember shortly after the election, I just for some reason saw a post of yours somehow, and I was like, okay, yeah, he hates Trump. All right.
That's funny. So anyhow, I went through my whole Trump derangement syndrome, and then I I was very rude. Someone would come in and they would say Trump, Trump, in my live stream, and I would be very rude to a Trump supporter. This went on for years. I was rude to people. I would attack them. I came up with this whole thing. It was called the Grab by the Pussies Award. And any woman that I would see on social media that would say anything that was pro Donald Trump, and at the time it wasn't a lot, but that became more prevalent when I moved to Twitter. But this was on Facebook, and there were just a few girls that I followed that were pro. I would say, congratulations, you've won a Grabbed Him by the Pussies Award. It's for your support for Donald Trump. And it was actually, the award speech was like a little paragraph. It was pretty legit sounding, it was so hypocritical in its accuracy of what a little award speech would sound like. And it's like, congratulations, you won, Grabbed Him by the Pussies. It's going to be awarded to you by Donald Trump himself.
Facebook was like totally good with that.
They were fine. Yes.
Good thing. Yeah.
Nope, they never had a problem with that. You're right. And in fact, that was one of the things I did as a perpetration. And this went on for years, HA. And then it was after, I don't know the date, but you can literally go back in my podcast, and it would probably be about a year ago or so on Facebook. And you'll see me podcasting, and I'll say, hey man, there's something going on in the United States right now. We're really having a lot of anger issues among each other. And I said, I want to be one of the first people to say it needs to stop, because I've been driving some of it with my little audience. I just have a very small audience that watches the show. So I just, and on my own, I'm like, I'm going to just start being nice. Like my mom always, I've got a Jewish mom, Jewish mother. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice to people. You're gonna get so much farther if you would just be nice. And you're like, you're so mean. My mom's always telling me, you're so mean. And with the cursing, you're always cursing. With the cursing, I can't even watch you. So I stopped persecuting my audience for their beliefs. That's all I did. And if I came up with this whole thing, I'm not even gonna get into philosophy or any of that crap. What I'm going to say is, throughout that, at some point, I had stopped watching you, brother. I unsubscribed from your channel. I was going to show AJ Goodman. He supports Donald Trump. I saw you wearing a Donald Trump hat. It said MAGA, Make America Great Again on it. And my heart was so broken. The moment I saw it, I was like, AJ, you broke my heart. You broke my heart, AJ. And I was like, okay, so I'm
could have been a contender.
So, yeah. Hey, Rocky. You're a bum. It's great too. One of the guys in the chat, Steve Running, he goes to your show. He loves your hat. He said that before. I wanted to tell you, the Oakland Raiders.
Nice, go Raiders.
So, at some point, right, I was like, because it had been years, brother. I wasn't watching you for literally like 2 years. I did not watch you, and then every once in a while, I would go to one of my other channels. And I'd be following you on one of my other channels, and I would see it, and I'd be like, I wonder what he's saying now. And I'd go and I'd listen to you every once in a while, I'd watch something. And then, but this was before I got this whole new attitude. I got this whole new attitude. I was like, dude, I need to go follow AJ Goodman again. I got to follow everybody again. I'm going to follow, Ben Shapiro. I'm going to follow Candace Owens. I'm going to follow Charlie Kirk on Twitter. I'm going to follow Donald Trump Jr. I'm going to follow Ivanka Trump. I'm going to follow all these people, and I'm just going to not persecute them for their opinions anymore. And I was following you again, and I made it a point to start following you on multiple channels so I could catch all of your podcasts and stuff. And I realized, man, at one point, I realized that we just need to listen to each other. And if we disagree, it's okay, man. It's like you said, we're like separated at birth. You said it on your live stream, and when you said that, bro, you don't understand. You couldn't see me. I was all proud. I was like, AJ Goodman and sister separated at birth. I was all excited about it. And that is the sentiment that I was depriving myself of and other people of by having this attitude. And not only that, but people were getting ready to really start hurting each other in the streets. And that's what it was about, man. It was about people hurting each other in the streets. So I came up with a hashtag and I was floating it around. It was MAGA, Make America Get Along. And I was pushing it on Twitter.
Good.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. And we pushed it around, and some people really latched onto it. And it was a cool thing, but I didn't want to use it as a perpetration, because I didn't want to start more, I want to tamp it down. And I noticed that all too often, when we're on the internet and we're expressing things back and forth, it's fine. But when people are face to face in the street and they're getting ready to hurt each other over politics or difference of opinion, we're doing it wrong, and it needs to change. And it starts with everybody individually, right? Go ahead.
This is the thing. You said you have a Jewish mom, like I do. So, when you are dealing with deranged, do you mind if I use profanity?
Fuck no, man. Let me tell you about them cunts. I have no fucking problem with anybody talking about fucking cunts on my fucking live stream. Ever.
Okay, so when you're dealing with deranged fucking people who call anyone Nazi, or Trump supporters Nazis, or Trump a Nazi,
and I was guilty of that at one point in the past too, and I realized that was wrong of me to do that.
Well, but this is the thing. The left, or people who have derangement issues with Trump, even when they feel that they're so intelligent or they're so confident in their position, they forget that during the Holocaust, 6 million Jews, 1.5 million Jewish children were murdered, shoved into gas chambers and Eisensgruppen, and the most horrendous, barbaric crimes against humanity that you could ever imagine. I mean, the unspeakable brutality and horror and the monstrosity of genocide. And 6 million of a group of people, men, women, and children, were murdered in less than 5 years. And you have people who have the audacity, and then you have millions upon millions of other people who were also murdered and died during World War II. For the left, or Democrats, or anyone to say that Trump is a Nazi, or Trump supports a Nazi, anyone who disagrees with him is a Nazi. Okay, a white supremacist, racist, crazy person at Charlottesville, they are not an Auschwitz guard shoving people into gas chambers. This is a very dangerous viewpoint, because when you call someone Nazi, you are now saying, I have the right to do anything because I'm protecting the world from a future Holocaust or a future,
Right.
And so they convince themselves.
This gets into First Amendment stuff, which I want to talk to you about as well. This is very important.
The people who utilize that thought process convince themselves that mean tweets or Trump's rhetoric will eventually lead to that. When, I mean, I understand, a lot of the people you mentioned, they don't like Israel. Like a lot of the YouTubers that you mentioned. I support Israel. I think it's a fantastic country. Obviously not perfect, but my thing is the greatest friend Israel ever had was Trump, and that's the only Jewish state in the world. So, but just in terms of just a basic grasp of logic, it's the Democrats who want to boycott the only Jewish state. Nazis boycotted Jewish businesses before they murdered 6 million Jewish people in the Holocaust. So you want to make comparisons that are just irrational. The irrational comparisons are more accurate with Democrats being the Nazis, not Trump supporters. So this the if you engage in only hyperbole and like this absurd leap of logic, where like for example in Detroit, those two Republicans didn't want to certify the results. They're like, "You're a racist. You're Bull Connor. You're everything. You're Attila the Hun." It's like it had nothing to do with race. That Bernie Sanders was cheated because Democrats cheat. It had nothing to do with skin color. So they just it's. I think you touched upon make America get along. You can't get along with people who deliberately twist semantics and use the most malicious form of logic. It's not even logic, it's just malice.
You're right. And you can't get along, but you can disagree without punching each other.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure.
Right. And that's what I'm going for. I just don't. I want to stop the what I've seen happen in the streets, and it's just unnecessary. And I want people to protest, man. I want Republicans to stand outside a place where there's votes going on, and I want them to hold signs, and I want them to scream and yell and say, "You guys are fucking us and you guys are cheating us." That's your right, man. I really, really have no problem with that at all. Just like when Black Lives Matter or anybody else is out there, as long as they're not holding up traffic or they're not doing something that's subverting society, they need to stand on a sidewalk and not block people and not harass them and not go in front of what I've seen too many times is cafes where people are just sitting there trying to have dinner and knocking their food out and, literally assaulting people. That shit doesn't go. I don't care which side it's from. I've seen it on both, and it's disgusting. And I just wish people could back off on both sides. That's why I love being an independent, because I can stand back and I can say, can't we all just get along? I just got to stand there in the middle and say, blow the referee whistle.
Yeah, I don't think there should be. Look, if this is the difference between me and a lot of other people. If President Trump toppled a regime, I would never support him. If President Obama does that, it's no problem. It's fine. Everything's fine, and he doesn't. The liberals are just fine. So like.
But if he tried, what if he attempted to topple a regime? There might be a little evidence that he attempted to topple two regimes.
Oh, Venezuela,
and now Iran. He was trying to. Well, you heard about that? He wanted to see if he could take out their nuclear installation.
It's from the New York Times.
It's from the New York Times. Go on.
Yeah, I think it was sourced by an anonymous source.
I love your source work, brother. I love that when you're talking. That the other day, I don't think I got to tell you this yet, so this is great. I was listening to one of your podcasts, and you said something about the Inquirer, and I was like, oh my God, H.A. Goodman is getting his information from the Inquirer. And then you were like, it was like the Michigan Inquirer or something like that. I was like, Philadelphia Inquirer. And you had just called it the Inquirer. And I was like, I'm such a goofball, man. He gets good information.
Let me tell you something.
How dare me?
Let me tell you something. If someone went to me and said TMZ reported this, and the New York Times reported this, I'd gravitate towards TMZ.
Sure. And I understand that. I understand that.
Because their track record's better.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, what's your, top 3 rock bands?
No one, I usually don't give this out on my podcast, so this is crazy that you're asking me this. I'm going to have to say The Experience with Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, and oh God, this one's so hard, man. Van Halen. I mean, if you gave me those three, if you gave me the compilation of those three, because let me tell you something, man, The Who, I really have a hard time walking away from The Who. I have a hard time walking away from Bad Company. Bad Company was up in there, and I just...
Oh, yeah, Bad Company's great. Yeah.
What about you?
I would say the
Ramones.
Ramones,
Yep. I knew you were going to say the Ramones.
Motorhead,
So
the
that.
Ramones, Motorhead,
Wow.
and you could put the Beatles, the three, or a whole bunch of three.
Beatles were
So
amazing. They would have to be in my picks, and definitely up there. And I didn't, they
yeah,
didn't pop into my brain when I was going over, but I still wouldn't name them as the top three of the Beatles because I didn't get a hold of the Beatles until I was a little bit older. I didn't really get exposed to the Beatles until I was older. It's like I kind of shunned it because I thought like it wasn't cool. But I was totally wrong, man. Boy, was I wrong. I was like, it's the coolest shit ever, man. Oh my God. These guys started it all. I can go back to so many melody lines and songs and chords and structures and say, well, oh, that's where the Who got that part from, or that's why the Foo Fighters are doing this, or that's why, the Kiss or AC/DC's taking apart, like where you're just,
oh,
oh.
ACDC is up there too. Yeah, for sure. ACDC. Yeah, yeah.
So how often do you listen to music?
I mean, I listen to music all the time,
Do you
but
do it
not.
while you
I
write?
don't. Do I what?
Do you listen to music while you write?
Oh, no, not generally.
Okay.
No, but I mean, yeah, music is fantastic.
And how do you
I
like to
think
how do
that
you like to listen to your music when you drive or around the home? Do you have,
mainly when driving or just listening to it, from my phone. But I like everything from Two Live Crew. Remember Two Live Crew?
Absolutely. When I was
I love Two Live
when
Crew.
I was going to beach, they call it beach break, right? It was it would have been 1987. It was 1987, and that's what everybody was listening to. Two Live Crew and Public Enemy. But
Public Enemy is fantastic.
that year
But
that
I
they
mean, this
released
day
some
and
great
age,
stuff.
especially this day and age, like Two Live Crew. I know that there's one of the members passed away, but
Oh,
like there has to be like a reunion, or they have to just like become come out with an album and offend everybody on Twitter, and there's not a damn thing that Luther Campbell that they would do to hurt Luther Campbell,
one of the greatest songs in the
like
world, the Daisy Dukes. The Daisy Dukes
oh
song.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are all the
Oh,
'90s.
love that
But
song.
I just think that like Two Live Crew, like they were banned, and they had a song banned in the USA. They were this was in Broward County in South
Yes, yes,
Florida. They
that's
were
true. That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
So I mean, they fought.
They had the
They fought
warning labels
censorship
on their album. I don't know if kids today know
Yeah,
about those warning labels that we used to get on our albums.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's funny because I don't know if today's generation really cares at all about like when you listen to a Two Live Crew album or a lot of rap music in the early '90s, but definitely Two Live Crew, they just say anything they want, and it's hilarious and it's just fun, but it's obviously people could find it quite offensive. There's actually on YouTube when they're on the Donahue show. And they have one of their songs, and like the whole all the audience is like, "Oh my god!" But it's interesting because if you grew up with that in the '90s, and now you see all this censorship, and like young people are like okay with it, and when we were growing up, we were not okay with that. Like, there was no such
Right.
thing as offensive speech.
Right.
It was just that was like older, like stodgy people
Let me ask you this:
would
Do
get
you
would get
remember? Do you remember when a couple of bands got accused of writing lyrics that caused kids to cause self-harm? Do you remember that? Back, it
Yeah,
was like,
that was you got another thing coming. That was uh I'll tell you right now. Judas Priest.
Judas Priest. They were
They were
being,
accused.
yes, right. They're accused of how dare they write lyrics that these kids would act out and do horrible things to themselves because they got the idea from these lyrics. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I've got some. What is your? So I know you like watching sports. So do you just sit there at like a desktop on your computer watching them, or do you have like a little area living room where you got like a big screen and you got like a lazy boy where you kick back? I just kind of see you just really chilling watching full on sports. How do you do it? What's your setup?
Well, like if I can't watch the Raider game when it's happening, I'll watch like the replays. There's a bunch of really great channels on YouTube that you can actually watch the replay of like a Raider game or whatever.
Do you watch from right where you're sitting? Do you watch from right there where you're sitting? Is that where you view from?
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes, yeah, like on a computer. But you can also. I mean, like if USC is on TV, I'll watch USC. I like the Trojans. I'm a diehard USC Trojan fan, and then the Raiders. I love the Raiders. So. Generally,
only football, is that the only sport that you spectate?
I'm sorry.
Only football, or are there other sports that you watch?
Oh no, I mean I like the Angels and Dodgers and the Lakers.
So
basketball.
Pretty
much
okay.
Los Angeles.
Baseball, basketball, and football.
But I mean there are other.
Am I right?
Yeah, there are other teams I like too. But yeah. I was at the World Series in 2002 when the Angels were in the World Series. I went to game 2 and game 6.
Oh wow, that's cool. So how many?
Yeah, it was pretty. Game 6 was awesome.
Was there another game after 6? Did it keep going?
Yeah, 7. And well, game 6, the Angels came back and like the stadium was going crazy. I was hugging people I didn't know. It was amazing.
Nice. Oh, pre-COVID days, huh? Nice. Must have been nice.
Well, yeah, I mean. Life actually existed to where we can enjoy human interaction without
Man, what will humans be like without
nuts.
Regular human contact? I wonder. It's an experiment in humanity, and we're starting it right now with today's generation. So okay, here's a question I came up with. Back before when you used to be able to leave your home and go do stuff. Were you more of a spur of the moment, or did you like plan activities to go do stuff? If you're gonna go do something, did you plan it out, or are you like, hey man, I feel like doing this, or I feel like doing that, blah blah blah. I'm gonna run out of here.
Nay, I live a pretty a very happy, boring life. So there's not really many activities I would plan, but I mean there are restaurants in Los Angeles that used to be in existence. Now,
right.
all these
takeout,
I really enjoy
through.
Yeah, going to a restaurant or a coffee shop or whatever. Now, it's funny because you have the California governor going into this really expensive, nice. There's a picture of him with medical professionals in a restaurant. I believe it was on November 6th. Inside a restaurant, and you can't even get inside a restaurant. In Los Angeles, or I think even in California, you can't get inside a restaurant. So it's unbelievable. But yeah, I mean,
would you get a COVID vaccine when they're available? Would you get one yourself?
At first, I said no, but I'm thinking probably I would.
Yeah, I would totally get one.
At first, I said no
because they went from 90 now they got 95%.
Yeah, I would get one when they're available, just so I could live my life,
Right. So, speaking of living your life, now back when I started on YouTube, I didn't do too much political opinion stuff. I would more just kind of go on, start a show. Maybe I'd have a topic or something, but I would just kind of see where the podcast would go, and just kind of, I'd do bong hits and stuff. It wasn't really like a structured show or anything like that. But whenever I see you've got a format that you follow, and I love that you do your podcast and you do uploads And then after people watch you live and they can literally interact with you, and you do interact with your audience, and you don't just read the super chats, and I think it's phenomenal that you do that. And you have fantastic admins.
Thank you.
And you guys, you do a great show. And then you do your uploads. You do a short, usually a 20-minute or so upload where you cover a topic. I've noticed when you're doing your podcast and when you're doing your uploads, you're sitting in a different place on a different computer system or something, or are you moving around, or?
Yeah, I mean, I have like 2 different backgrounds and 2 different computers, so.
I like that. And so does it matter when you use which one or why, or is it just whatever you feel like doing?
Not really.
I've got two
Yeah.
two setups as well. It's interesting that we both
Well,
have
the thing is, like, like YouTube changed the back end, so now like you have to have OBS or something like that to live stream.
Wow.
Whereas before it was like through just like a Google Hangout type thing.
Huh.
So, but one of the computers has OBS, one doesn't. So.
I think I used to just, back in the day when I was podcasting to YouTube, I think I would just use their software, which wasn't very reliable.
Yeah.
You know, I would just use their browser. So are, people in general, Americans, you think, are they capable of discerning real from fake news today? Or do you think that people are just getting fooled on a massive level?
I think people are definitely capable. I think that they know what's going on. I think that actually they know what's going on so much so that the people there are really intelligent people who actually say, oh, look, the New York Times and the Washington Post are bolstering my existing viewpoint. This is fantastic. Obviously, I'm right. They don't bother. There's reality and truth, and then there's what Republicans think, and then there's what Democrats think. The media, though, is purely caters to just one side. And so generally, like, for example, there are a lot of Democrats who are like, yeah, fuck yeah, we cheated. Yeah, yeah, we cheated. It's fucking great. Fuck them. So they know that, like, they did it to Bernie Sanders. And I experienced this also when I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. See, Bernie doesn't fight, but I remember Democrats are like, well, fuck him. We cheated him. Too bad for him. You know what? He doesn't have power anyway. And so people, when they say, well, there was no evidence of cheating, well, there is affidavits and all that. It's just not enough evidence to where you can convince Democrats. An affidavit, you can use in a court of law. Nobody believed the whole Russia, nonsense. There was nonsense.
Do you have to convince Democrats? Do you have to convince Democrats? Don't Republicans hold all the positions in government right now?
Well, the House of Representatives is Democrat, but the point, the media in general, they keep saying, oh, well, where's the evidence? And then Giuliani says, well, we have here the affidavits, we have whistleblowers. They don't want to hear anything. Right. They want a signed, and this is what happened with Bernie Sanders. They want an oath in blood, signed. We cheated, signed all the cheaters. That's not going to happen. You have to investigate the allegation. So, but like, I think that people can decipher generally what's right and what's wrong. It doesn't matter, regardless of what media says. I just think that media has a way of driving people who already have had an ideological viewpoint nuts. So if people didn't really like Trump in 2016, they're now like deranged beyond belief because they've heard everything every single day. And they, like, most people are not like you, Nay. Like, they don't sit back and say, wait a second, what kind of rabbit hole am I getting into? Or maybe I should,
right, look
at things from a bird's eye. Most people don't have that perspective. They just get deeper into the contempt. So,
let me ask you. Well, go ahead. Go finish your thought.
Go on.
I was gonna say, if you could name something that Donald Trump should have done differently in the last month running up to the election, what do you think would have helped give him just an undeniable landslide that even Democrats, and no matter what kind of cheating went on, nobody could have denied it. It would have been every state, Trump, 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 if he had done what? What would, if you were his advisor, what would you have told him to do the last month of his, before the election?
I think that from the election standpoint, he should have had like body cameras or like set up sting operations in every state. Aside from that, like
before that, I'm talking about what he could have done as president.
Yeah, before that,
policy wise or anything.
He probably should have brought home every American from the Middle East. He should have done that, and had he done that and said the hell with any.
You think Americans?
He should have brought home every American.
You think Americans care that much? Yeah. About that one thing?
Unfortunately, I don't know if many Americans. I think what would happen is the following: if he had done that, then it would have been Biden's. Biden would have had to say, okay, well, we're going to send them back, and that would have been a negative for Democrats. See, I think that he should have. See, unfortunately, his hands are tied, or I don't know how much his hands are tied, but it's not easy to just simply bring home every American within the span of a month. But he should have done that. He should have set the groundwork in motion and said, look, this is, I'm utilizing either an executive order or the authority of the president to remove Americans within the next month, or within the next 3 months, all Americans from Iraq and Afghanistan. And the response from Democrats would have helped him tremendously.
How many troops are out? How many troops are out total right now? Do you know?
We have 10,000 or 5,000 in Iraq and like around 9,000 to 10,000 in Afghanistan.
And that's it. That's between the two. It's
a little less than that. A little less. Those were numbers I think like a year ago.
So let me, HA, think about it this way. Think about sheer numbers. Okay, so you got, let's say let's say 50,000 troops out. Let's say we got 50,000 troops around the world, and he was able to pull them back. That versus what I feel was his big mistake, which was, you saw the rally. It was about 3 weeks before the election, where Donald Trump said multiple times at the beginning, he said, COVID, 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 COVID. Did you see that? And he said, after November 3rd, you're not going to have to hear about COVID anymore. He said, fake news. He said, an airplane, 500 people goes down. They don't report on it. It's COVID, COVID, COVID. Did you see that clip from his?
I think I know what you're referencing. Yeah.
See, now you don't. Now because you're kind of like, yeah, maybe I saw it, maybe not. Now I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, if you're not even that familiar with it, that clip, I don't think maybe that many people really saw it.
You're right in that.
Had a lackadaisical little attitude there towards it, and I think that may have turned some people off. Now, we were talking about sheer numbers, 50,000 versus, how many people are dealing with COVID, and I'm not talking about catching it. I'm not talking about dying from it. I'm talking about people like you and I that we can't go to a freaking restaurant, and we're just sick of it, and we want him to just be serious about it. And every time I ever hear you on your show say, man, what reason would more people vote for Biden than Trump? I always think it's like my default is that COVID thing. I hear Trump going, COVID, 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 over and over and over in my mind. And I always wondered, what would your response be to that? Do you think that was maybe something that
probably
hurt him?
I mean, you're probably right. There's
how do you stop someone like him from talking like that at a rally? It's like he's all pumped up. He probably had a few drinks, or maybe he doesn't drink at all, but he was pumped up from the people, man. The people will get you riled up. He's got thousands of people there. They love him. And you just get up there and you just might slip a little bit. And if I have 100 people watching me, I slip up on a podcast,
You're right. Look, the way the media played, the way the media manipulated everything to do with the pandemic and Trump is that they tried to create this image that he didn't care, and that, see, they pretended that they care and he didn't care. He never said it was a hoax. He said the media reaction to what he was trying to do to help people was a hoax. But see, again, anything he said was going to be manipulated into, well, he doesn't care. And so that was the I think what you're touching upon, the belief that maybe some people thought he didn't care. But see, the funny thing is, like Andrew Cuomo, he's directly responsible for people's lives.
He did
being
a horrible,
lost.
as
I mean,
Trump would say,
putting
he did a horrible
people,
jab.
yeah.
He did a horrible jab. Cuomo did a horrible
Yeah.
job. He sent sick people into retirement communities. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
You know, that guy was a moron. And
No, and
you're right. What
Yeah.
happened in New York was a travesty, and it affected the rest of the world because so many people traveled in and out of there. You know?
Democratic states have the worst outcomes when it came to the virus.
In all
The
fairness,
facts according to
in
New
all
York.
fairness to them, a lot of travel, national travel as well as international travel is out of those cities as well, and they were calling it the airport virus. And when you look at the Republican states now, they're doing really bad with COVID, man. It's getting worse for them. You know, like the Midwest. Have you seen it?
But the aggregate numbers, you're right about the people coming in, but Cuomo knew that.
We should
He
do
knew that
it.
before.
You and
He
I
knew
should do a
that
show
in
together,
March.
HA. We should do you should have me on for 15 minutes every once in a while, like once a month. Have me on, and you and I should do
I
this
want
because
to.
I'm really enjoying this conversation, man. This is fantastic. This is so
It
cool,
is a great
man.
conversation.
I love what you have to say about all
Can
this
I
stuff.
tell you something? Like one great thing about you, Nay, is that and I think it's I try to say that it's I have this also. The great thing about you is that you are just a really cool, awesome dude, awesome guy who is like living life, and you have something you're passionate about, which is the cannabis, which a lot of other people are passionate about. And it's like the production value for your channel and my channel is mainly our personality. And it's like people tune in because they want to get those positive vibes from Nay. I mean, look at, you got the bongs, you got the guitar, you got the dog in the background.
You saw the dog.
What's there not to like? You got the action figure right there.
Yeah, Frankie
You got,
McDonald.
Oh my God! Look at all those
Frankie
guitars.
McDonald.
I mean,
He's a
Yeah.
he does all kinds of work too. He's actually he's autistic, and he does weather reporting from Nova Scotia. And I had him on the show, man. I did an interview.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and you can go to naysgarden.com and you can see that interview with Frankie, man. It's a really good interview, man, because he's very interesting the way he responds to things. You know, he's because he comes from a different, you know, mental perspective. So it's a fantastic interview. If you have time one day, you're going to be there too. You'll see yourself there as well on the .com. This interview is going to be up there.
Awesome. I look forward to it. I can't spend too long, but I want to ask you, if you don't mind talking about it, totally fine. But you mentioned something about like you have a business that's flourishing.
Yes. Yeah.
And you said something about how Trump helped.
Yes.
How did Trump help with your business?
Donald Trump made me a millionaire, and every one of my audience members knows it. They've all been watching me for the last year, and I've given Donald Trump credit for the fact that I own shares in a corporation in Orlando. It's based out of Orlando. It's a mini storage company. So I started putting shares in my father's company when I was 15 years old, and every time he would build a new facility, I would buy some stock in each one. So now I'm part owner in 13 different warehouse locations around Central Florida. So it's the business does really well. I've been able to move away from Florida, come out here and retire. For the past, 10 years I've been out here, and that it's a constant steady flow of income for me. But when Donald Trump became president, he really cut some massive tax breaks to my corporation. And we started making so much more, all the investors, we started making so much more money. I literally remember the conversation I had with my mother and my sister, and I said, guys, I don't know what to do with my money. I started panicking, and I'm like, I need to do something with it. And I had the idea. I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll start buying equipment that I need here on the property, and I'll dump it into the equipment, and it'll be like a secure investment. It'll sit here on my property. And if I ever sell the house or move, I sell the equipment with the house. So I got this side-by-side tractor with a backhoe, and that was thousands of dollars. And then I got this Roxor Jeep, which was thousands of dollars. And then I started putting thousands of dollars into that. And I was like, yeah, man, I got them insured. And it's like, I don't have to worry about my money sitting in a bank. If a bank collapses, I'm going to be okay. But as far as what Donald Trump did, my finances went from me having to worry month to month about really how I was spending my money and to going out and saying, how many $20 bills can I drop on H.A. Goodman's podcast tonight? It was like, I felt like I was out at a titty bar.
Thank you, by the way.
I was throwing dollar bills at the ladies, man, back in Orlando, living the crazy life, back when, like I said, before COVID. But that was what the difference in the taxes did for me. It made a huge difference, and it was Donald Trump. And then let me tell you what else I noticed. It's not good. Is I saw a place where I used to hang out, and this is very anecdotal, and I always say that when I mention this, but it was a shopping center in Clear Lake, which is a town near where I live, and I saw so many homeless people there suddenly. And what was going on was the programs, and I talked to some of the, there was actually a place I was going for rehabilitation for some pain I had in my elbow and my shoulder. And the woman that worked there, she turned out, she's a neighbor, and she lives over here near me. But the woman that she worked out there, and she told me at the time, she said, oh, yeah, they've shut down the homeless shelters. They're no longer feeding people. The food banks are all closed up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why? And she's like, oh, haven't you heard? It's what Donald Trump is doing he's taking money away from these programs that are, and it's true. He did take money away from some programs. He took money away from that program that was monitoring COVID type stuff in China. And he was taking money like that, and he was giving it to people like me. And I gave him credit for it. I was like, it was what Donald Trump did. I mean, I don't know what to do with all this freaking money. I don't want to give it to a bunch of crackheads, because I don't know how to spend the money, So I'll buy things, I'll purchase things, and, and I'll try to give it to people who I hear are speaking their truth on the internet. And I make something, HA, actually, I try not to push it on too many people, but do you know who Arn Ra is? You ever heard of Arn Ra?
No.
He's a podcaster. He's YouTube famous, bro, like you. Actually, you're way more than YouTube famous. But he's way more than YouTube famous too. He's one of the biggest atheists on YouTube. And when I say biggest, he is a big, intimidating dude. He's got a Fu Manchu. He always wears black, and he's got very long, straight hair, and he looks very intimidating. You might see him on YouTube every once in a while, now that I mentioned what he looks like. But he's really good at what he does. I had him on the show, and I interviewed him. And it's really good. But during the interview, I mentioned my Triage Oil that I make. And what it is it's 98% coconut oil, 1% peppermint oil, 1% activated THC oil. And we had a whole conversation about his the fact that he once used cannabis, or he had these, incidents with cannabis. He was not interested in trying this product at all. It's a pain rub. If you've got something that hurts on your body, you rub it in. If you have an open wound on your body, like a cut and you're bleeding, you can rub this oil right into the open wound and it won't hurt. It's insanity, bro. It's just 1% activated THC oil. So anyway, since you're in California, I mean, it's illegal for you. I always offer it to everybody, and I would love to send you some if you'd like to try it for free to everybody. You know, Jimmy Dore loves it. You ever heard of Ron Placone? Graham Elwood.
Yeah.
Graham Elwood loves it,
Yeah.
man. Graham Elwood loves it. Ron Placone, at the beginning of every Ron Placone show, every podcast, he talks about the triage oil that helps his neck. He's like, I got in a car accident back in 2000. Yeah, go ahead.
I would purchase like 30 if I didn't own firearms, and in California, just in Los Angeles, like any link to THC, like it's like a big issue with the firearms.
It shouldn't be at all because you're in the state of California.
No, I know it shouldn't. I know it shouldn't be.
Right.
I know it shouldn't be.
All right.
But I've read that they can get you any way possible.
Well, let me at least send you a hoodie with my face on it, so I can always be there.
Oh my goodness!
Just tell me what size you want.
Oh my goodness!
This right here is a triple X. My buddy got me into wearing the really big ones, and it's really cool because you kind of look like death. You know, you got this big hood on, and it's really comfortable. Like if you're sitting on the couch or whatever, or if you're traveling, it's really comfortable, man. And I could send you that. You know, I could send you a hoodie or a shirt. Okay. Well, after the show on email, let me know a PO box or whatever, and I'll ship you out a nice little care package and stuff. That's excellent. I've got some more questions for you though, so you're not running off, are you?
I want to stay a long time. It's just I got to do an upload, and I have to do a couple things.
And I do not want to deprive you of your audience.
No.
What's the number of audience members that you would get that would make you nervous that you were live? When you look at that number and you're like, oh my God, there's literally 2,000 people that are, and it's not just 2,000 people. A lot of those people are sitting with their families and their friends. They're watching with other people. I'm showing you to 30 or 40 of my audience members. You know, you don't even realize you got another. You don't even have. Thank you. You don't even realize you got an extra 40 people when you've got thousands. I'm adding. So, is there a number of people that, or are you just used to it? The number doesn't matter.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
After this happened, it was my first time on CNN, and like basically, I don't even show the links because it's like when I was with Bernie Sanders, like far left type person, but. It was the first time, oh no, sorry, my second time ever on television. But I'm telling you, Nay, like, for some reason, and I don't know why, I didn't experience this, because the first time I was on TV was MSNBC, like, for like, you know, a minute or two. But then a year later, 2 years later, it was CNN, and I wrote an article in the Huffington Post about Bernie Sanders and white privilege, and so it's and Clinton. But anyway, so right before the CNN, like they do a countdown, like a 3, like a 5, 4, and my heart began boom, 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 boom.
Oh no, man!
Right? My heart was like boom, 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 and I want to tell you, I'm like. And I just told myself, hey, calm the fuck down, and this is what you have to do. And anyone listening, it doesn't matter if it's the entire goddamn planet listening. Just be pedantic. If you're talking about politics, just try to be pedantic. Try to just like kind of educate people, educate them pertaining to what you believe. So just. You don't have to prove yourself at all. Just go ahead, be pedantic, and try to kind of communicate your thoughts in an educated manner, where you can at least explain what you're thinking. Maybe not so much try to convince people, but explain what you're thinking. And one of my friends a long time ago said he was told the difference, like talking to one person and talking to 20,000 is pretty much the same thing. Aside from obviously nuances here and there, but no matter how many people you're talking to, try to talk to them as if you're talking to just one person. So
That's nice that you could
but,
say that. For
the,
me, my whole personality changes when I hit a certain number. I start cracking apart, man. It's like I have no problem with 30 or 40 though. That seems to be comfortable for me. You know,
yeah, but you
it's
know what?
so
You
fun.
know what you know what the thing is? It's like this is where you have to be a little arrogant. It's not arrogance. It's not confidence. It's just, hey, you know what? 20,000 people would benefit from hearing Nay speak. This is the truth.
Oh,
And you don't have to be like arrogant or cocky to think that. And also like if you have facts on your side, it doesn't matter if you're speaking to the entire world. You know, it's the people who have to actually contort themselves to fit a viewpoint. They have to worry. But if you're just being yourself and yeah, but before that, it was just boom. And then I said, you know, calm down and just get it done. And the interview worked out very well.
and so that was kind of like, I guess it was a time that it kind of changed you at that point. So you never experienced fear on your podcasting or anything like that from the
Yeah,
CNN thing.
well, I'll never experience fear if I'm ever on television again, because at that moment it was like, oh my God, do I just like freeze on CNN, or do I just do what I do on YouTube?
Right.
And
Right.
I think that if you have, let's put it this way, if you have the biggest imbeciles on the planet talking to you every day through either on Fox or MSNBC, and they're confident, you should be confident.
Right.
You know,
Right.
yeah, I think that, you know, the public speaking is, if you can just be yourself and communicate, the main thing is communicating. So you don't even have to, one of my friends who's a professor, actually, he's fantastic. And he said in writing or in speaking, it really doesn't matter how you write something or how you speak something. It's just a matter, the only thing that matters is if you communicate. If you can communicate an idea or message, obviously you want to do so in an efficient manner and in a perhaps amusing manner or whatever. But as long as you communicate the idea, you're successful.
I've got so many questions for you. Oh my goodness, HA, I got to ask you, did you see the Giuliani press conference from today?
Yeah.
Did you see the hair? Did you see the hair color running down his face?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
saw that. You saw that. Okay.
I actually I heard about it more than I saw it, but it's always Giuliani spouts baseless claims at press conferences. It's always baseless. Baseless.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love your voices, man. I'm so glad you went into your voice right there. Oh, I love that.
Let me tell you.
Your broadcaster voice.
If he uses Just for Men, God bless him. I'm all for it.
This was just for the moment, man. They had makeup artists in there went. Didn't realize how much the man perspired, unfortunately. You know, he needed a little clear coat over the top of that, and they neglected the clear coat.
Earl Shine.
Right? Okay, so anyhow, do you see this zucchini that's sitting back here on the shelf?
Yes.
That's a roughly 6 pound, 5 ounce, something like that zucchini. Grew it in my garden. I'm wondering, because, you know, I went through this whole thing where I watched all the favorite podcasters, you included. I watched you guys talking about politics and things, Jimmy Dore, all those guys, Lee Camp, and I'm like, man, these guys, all they're doing is talking about politics. What are they going to do if their power goes out? What are they going to do if their water shuts down in their house or their apartment? Where are they going to get their food from? Now that we just had COVID happen, it was a good eye-opener for a lot of us that we're not really prepared in our homes for self-sustaining. So this is something I talk about on my channel a lot, is how to grow vegetables. I've got a lot of friends that are canning, and I want to get into that as well. And it's something I'd like to teach you if that's something you're interested in learning. When I was talking to Graham Elwood about it, he was like, bro, I live in an apartment. I don't have the ability. I don't have the space. I can't grow. I was like, bro, I'm growing tomatoes in a room downstairs under a light right now, literally, that I can pluck down there. Pole beans. You can literally grow vegetables inside your home.
How do the tomatoes taste? How do the tomatoes taste that you're growing?
They're amazing, man. They're juicy, and they're some of the best tomatoes I've ever had in my entire life. I slice them open, and I take a slice, I'll put it on a tuna melt, man. I will just eat it raw. You go back and look at my harvest videos from this year. I had so many beautiful tomatoes. Oh, they were all different kinds. But my question is this to you. Would you be interested in learning some organic grow techniques, this kind of stuff that I teach my audience? And would that be something that I could pass along to you?
I mean, it's something that I would definitely. Do you have videos where you go into your garden?
Yes. This is Nate's garden, brother. This is it. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's right.
We've got the garden here, and I literally. I grew all of this cannabis this year.
I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I would definitely watch your videos, and I think that it's something that eventually I have to get into because it is important.
Okay, and it's easy.
Is very, very important.
Composting is easy too. Do you eat eggs or drink coffee?
Yes.
Okay, both of those, the coffee grounds and the eggshells, are fantastic amendments for organic soil. And you start saving those, putting them in a bag, burying them in a hole outside. The earthworms just flock to it. You'll get this wonderful, rich soil. And rotten vegetables.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Anything that goes bad. Cheese. You got like a hunk of cheese that started getting a little mold on it. Instead of throwing it in the garbage down the garbage disposal, you put it in your compost outside. And you cover it up. You keep it wet. You keep it moist. And you cover it up with a tarp and with some bricks so rats aren't attracted to it or raccoons or anything like that. And your vegetables will literally just start growing out of that because you're putting rotten vegetables in there, and the rotten vegetables have seeds in them. And so tomatoes, zucchini, whatever it is you're eating, it'll literally just start growing out of your vegetable compost. And then you grab those sprouts and you put them in your garden.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really neat. We're not going to get into that right now because I've got a million more questions for you, and we have to go quick because I know you've got to do uploading and stuff. So let's move on. Climate change, so important. Donald Trump said it was a Chinese hoax a while back. I think that was really detrimental to America for him saying that. I know he comes back and says, oh, I was joking and blah, blah, blah. But he's president of the United States, and unfortunately, I wish he would take it a little bit more seriously when he said things like that. What's your opinion on where are you at with climate? You already said, you didn't see America making a change if other countries weren't going to make a change. I said we can't affect it at all. And let me tell you something. I watch a guy, his name is Dr. Guy McPherson. He's professor emeritus from Arizona University or Phoenix University, one or the other, on climate. And he has a lot of information basically saying we're fucked. And there's nothing we can do to reverse where we're at. It doesn't matter, Green New Deal, electric cars. I don't care if you try to put all those little things up in space to block the sunlight. We're screwed. And that's what he basically taught me. That's why I started learning how to self-sustain and get solar panels, because where I live here, I have a company. It's called PG&E. They're my power company. And every time they want to, they can turn off the freaking power. And I got so sick of that. They did it for 2 weeks at a time once. And I had to turn my generator on, and we didn't have a fire near us, but there were winds, and they were just completely, they were dictating how we were able to live our lives. Libertarianism and climate change. Are you a libertarian?
No, I don't think that I'm. Maybe on some issues.
But corporations should be reined in, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we solved that real quick. Great.
Yeah.
So, as far as climate change goes, though, let's say that people start migrating at such a level that it's not just a caravan coming in from Mexico, that they literally start coming in from everywhere, and that there's nothing we can do to stop it. Do you have any kind of a plan for yourself Just you know, like how are you going to survive
I
or
mean,
get along?
I think that I think that climate change is a very important issue that needs to be addressed. I just don't. The rhetoric never correlates to the actions.
What if
I'm
our
talking about
actions won't?
people
What if
with.
our actions won't fix it? What if we can't fix it?
I mean, that's an issue as well. I mean, people migrating to the U.S. are doing so, for a better life economically. Um, I mean, there are issues with climate change that need to be addressed. I don't know if Democrats are. I guess I'll look at it from first a political perspective, then I'll answer your question directly.
Okay.
If Democrats are serious, they should pass a Green New Deal bill legislation tomorrow.
They're not going to
They
do
can
that.
do so.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
They're not going to do so.
They
Yeah, they're not going to do so. So that tells me that they're not that serious about it, or that they don't think it's that big of a deal, or they don't think it's an existential crisis. In terms of climate change, like me planning for the world to not be
Collapse.
inhabitable,
or society
I don't know if
collapsing, or your power getting shut off permanently. You know, even just things like that. Yeah, where are you at?
I think I'm okay for the power being shut off for a certain time, but not endlessly. I think I have to probably look into preparing myself for that possibility, which I'm not prepared for.
Is your house freezing cold all the time?
Oh no, no, it's not. It's not.
Okay, you've got
the location.
You got a scarf on.
Yeah.
You got the
Yeah.
And I noticed you wear that other hat, and it's got the ear. I think it's got like ear coverings on it as well.
Yeah, it's my Ushanka.
So it looks like it's freezing in there. You're in L.A. You're making L.A. look like you're in North Dakota.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe
sometimes
I thought maybe you're like a bubble boy, and you had to have a certain temperature in the home, or disease would spread through, or something. You got it down to like 55
I guess it's just
degrees.
me being super cautious. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. So here's a great question for you. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with this one, and you can do it as quickly or take as much time as you want. What do Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders have in common? Both positive and negative.
Oh, a lot of things. I mean, first off, you have foreign policy. Well, here's the thing. These are issues that I thought they had in common, or that they do have in common. So, foreign policy, I assumed, or I thought they would that they had. Definitely there was an overlap, because Bernie wanted to end quagmires, and so did President Trump. Bernie's against interventions and regime changes, and removing dictators, and just leaving Americans off to fight in endless wars. And President Trump is now really the closest thing to an anti-war president we've had. When you look at the fact that he's
pulling troops out,
when you look at the fact that he's tried to remove Americans from these places, and he did not destroy Libya like President Obama and Biden and Clinton did. Has he been a dove, or has he been a pacifist? No. But see, that you're not going to get that from an American president. The fact that the Lincoln Project opposes him, that's enough for me. And I want Americans out of these regions. So
let me pause you, AJ. Let me pause you before you go on. Does every American president get in there and then they're told by the generals in the army, hey, I don't care what you say, this is what we're doing and this is why, and they're kind of up against a rock and a hard place? Is that what happens to all of them? Where they basically don't have a choice?
No, I think that they have advisors, and maybe the Joint Chiefs, the generals, have a lot of input. But I think that a president comes in with a foreign policy viewpoint or vision, and he has his own vision of what he wants, And then he has a whole bunch of people who perhaps either share that vision or want him to be hawkish, or more militant. And then there are foreign policy concerns. See, this is the thing with the Cold War, for example. JFK initially sent advisors to Vietnam. Well, that was a Cold War consideration. He had to stop the spread of communism. It was the Truman Doctrine. Well, when he was assassinated, then LBJ not only took, so there was that situation that, okay, well, we were helping South Vietnam fight communists in North Vietnam. JFK got us into that situation because of that Cold War reality or scenario. That those advisors went to hundreds of thousands of Americans, and 58,000 eventually, over 58,000 who lost their lives dead within the span of LBJ to Nixon. And so I don't know if JFK said, oh, well, we're going to go in and we're going to get into a war in Vietnam. But that's how these things take place. They take place with unexpected occurrences. And there was the Gulf of Tonkin, which the intelligence community was wrong about.
Lying us into war. Right.
Yeah. And so, but see, that's the thing. You have a no-fly zone in Syria. Something happens, a jet shot down, then it's like World War III. But see, the Lincoln Project, or the hawkish type people, they don't realize that everything they've ever advocated has been an absolute catastrophe and failure. And so they just keep doubling down. And the chips are like human lives, so they just keep doubling down. But what was the initial question?
The initial question was, what do Trump and Bernie have in common?
So that's the foreign policy, I believe, was the foreign policy aspect is the most important.
What was it that you really liked about Bernie that really made you a supporter of him? What was it his anti-war, getting out of war, right? That was your thing, right?
Yeah, he was the neoconservatives did not like, or I guess he did not want quagmires or interventions, and that's what really drove me towards Bernie. I think that's an infinitely more important issue than Medicare for All, but that's important too. If Medicare for All was possible, it would be great. I don't know if it's feasible. See, I'm not against, this is the thing, a lot of the things that Bernie Sanders is known for now would be great things. Medicare for All, that's fine if it's feasible. Green New Deal, if it's feasible and doesn't destroy jobs, that's great too. But these things are not even adopted by the Democratic Party. So one big issue is tariffs. Bernie was talking about the trade imbalance with China. So was President Trump. The Trans-Pacific Partnership, Bernie was against, Trump was against. The general understanding of how the intelligence community, quote unquote community, does a lot of bad things. Bernie addressed that, and Trump has addressed that. So there's a lot of overlap.
It's interesting, though, in that you say that, when you remember all of the horrible things that Bernie said about Donald Trump. He really attacked Donald Trump throughout his whole campaign. It was all anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. And you remember Donald Trump was like, I hope Bernie Sanders wins the primary, and he comes, and that's who I get to run against because I think Bernie's all right. Remember that? It was like, yeah. I was like, God, Bernie is just totally throwing you under the bus all the time. And Donald Trump stood up and said, yeah, I hope he wins, man, and I'll go against him. I'll fight that guy. He goes, he's a socialist. I'm gonna beat him. I'm not worried about it. But he's a good guy. I like him. It's funny.
This is the thing. This is the difference between Bernie Sanders and Trump. Trump would never in a million years support like a neoconservative type individual and say, you know what, I'm going to vote for this person even though they're going to send, I know that they're going to send Americans off to these wars, but this person's a great person, you should trust this person. Bernie Sanders did that with Biden. And Biden would literally oppose everything Bernie stands for.
Bernie Sanders did it with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
Ugh.
exactly. But and can I tell you something? And you
Yes.
probably never thought I would say this. Clinton is more to the left than Biden is. Clinton is
So
even more to the
scared.
left than Biden is.
I know. I never thought
So
you would say that, but he did write the crime bill, and I understand that he says really bad things like I don't want my children raised in an urban jungle, and she said some really bad things too, and it was almost like they were like at coffee, like together, hanging out, coming up with these things together. She's said some
yeah,
really bad stuff, man, and I wonder how
yeah.
bought into the military industrial complex the Clintons are. I wonder if they make, but do they profit from war, the Clintons?
Um, I don't know if they profit directly from war. I think that the
Like
people who
Dick Cheney
profited the most
does?
from war, are the
Like Dick Cheney
Yeah,
does.
the Cheney and Bush people.
That's
But
awful, man.
I mean, they definitely profit from they definitely profit from whatever establishment, like Clinton pushed for Libya, to intervene in Libya. So they definitely profit from whether the establishment succeeds or doesn't succeed.
Do you think maybe some of her
So,
really big
like for example,
supporters do? Like there's some people that really take care of her as far as,
I think that like
election campaign funding and
these
things like that?
these people have a massive public relations network that they've built over years and years and years, and they have access to every wealthy individual and every decision maker and every multinational corporation, and you know, so that's how. See, the politicians sell themselves, but Trump sold real estate. So when he became a politician, the establishment just converged upon him. Oh wait, how could you have won? I mean, we've spent years. I mean, Bernie sells himself. Bernie Sanders, I thought, was like this, like Braveheart, oh my god,
Uncorruptible superhero.
yeah,
Nobody was gonna
and
buy him out. He was gonna just stand for what he stood
the
for, and
yeah,
his spine just disintegrated on us, man. We realized what kind of a
and
person he
like
was.
I'm not saying Trump is perfect. He's not at all, but he's a lot closer to that than Bernie was. Because you could see how genuine a person is by how media converges upon them, whether it's Julian Assange or Trump or like any. You could look at rock bands when they were first starting out. If the media hated them, you could probably look and say, okay, that band was pretty awesome. Eventually, still pretty awesome. So they keep on saying history won't be kind to President Trump, but if you look at in aggregate, like what he did before the pandemic, and the pandemic, like it's Democratic run states that locked down their states. That's that. When people say, "Oh my God, people are out of work," well, you locked down your entire fucking state, and the numbers are still horrible. So, I mean, they hid behind the pandemic to flood mail-in ballots in. The rejection rates are lower than they've ever been, which doesn't make any sense that you'd think they'd be higher. So, I mean, that's a whole other story. But
You
I
guys
think
can
that
get
Trump
all
is,
of that entire story at H.A. Goodman's podcast. He goes every day just about, and he talks about this all the time. So make sure you tune in his podcast on YouTube, H.A. Goodman. People are like AJ and, getting your name wrong. It's
but
H.A.
I think that Trump, like, at the end of the day, will be viewed very kindly by maybe not by established, but maybe not by historians, the historians of today, but you look at like the 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds who are more independent of thought, or 20-year-olds. There are a lot of people who are looking at President Trump as like, hey, you know what? This is a punk rocker. I might not like exactly what he says, but he's more punk rock
Right, sure.
than anyone out
Anti-stout.
there,
He's
including
totally
Bernie
anti.
Sanders.
He's a hand grenade. Totally. But let me ask you this.
But
And look, let me just say this.
Nate, let's do one. I want to talk forever, but let's do one more question. And I wish I could stay longer, but I got to go after one more question.
Wait. Instead of one more question, I've got man, I had that freaking hit piece. It's bro. You know about the hit piece from thedailybanter.com on you?
Oh, the daily. Okay, so which is that? That's what did that? What was the title?
H.A. Goodman, darling of the left, Bernie Sanders supporter, finally admits his support for Donald Trump.
Okay, so like this publication is no longer in existence.
H.A. Goodman now supports Trump. That's what it says. H.A. Goodman now supports Trump.
Yeah, there's one person who like obsessed over me, and like it's just a typical apoplectic scene.
It's a vicious hit piece. It's completely biased. It's unfactual, and it's bullshit. It's an attack on you. And I was wondering, did you consider legal action? Because it's basically libel, man.
Yeah, it's not against them. Possibly in other scenarios, but that was just that publication was run by one person, and then there was another person that kept writing the same type article because they couldn't possibly stand that I didn't like Clinton, and then I supported President Trump. So then
they had a vendetta against you. I gotcha.
Yeah,
so screw them. I don't want to put any more time on them. Fuck that motherfucker. They're cunts. And now this is what I want to do. I do have another name that I want to drop on you, bro, like a bomb. And if we can't go there, it's cool. Tim Black, can we talk about that?
Well, I respect him.
Cool.
And
what happened?
I love him and respect
you guys had a really good thing going, and I want to know what happened. I want to know why you don't do that anymore.
Tim Black is a fantastic human being, and he has a great channel. And he's a great person, and I have nothing but love for Tim Black. I think that he's awesome. We just I became a Trump supporter, so it wasn't going to work. It didn't,
Well, okay. Was there a conversation? Did you guys start disagreeing?
We had a wonderful conversation, talk like men, and
on the phone.
There's no animosity, nothing. It's like 100% all good.
Good.
And I love and respect him, and he has a great channel. The problem, this is the unfortunate thing, is anyone who was associated with me got a lot of heat from people because I became a Trump supporter. So it was unfair that like people were trying. There were people who on social
turn
media,
their backs on you. Okay. Who turned their backs on you? You don't have to call people out by name if you don't want to, but were there certain agencies or certain publications that were like, oh, we're not going to publish you anymore because you're pro-Trump, we don't appreciate your opinion anymore?
Well, I mean, any publication that was on the left obviously doesn't want a Trump supporter. So
really? So they wouldn't take your articles anymore? They literally told you that? Or you just
like a left-leaning,
or you're just like I'm not even gonna go there. I'll find somebody else to go publish this, right?
Pretty much, I'm not even gonna go there.
I gotcha.
I mean, like you had the former editor. You had the former editor of Salon who said that my viewpoints were idiotic. Salon went to me, but and I respect the editor there greatly who went to me. And you're saying they sought you out. They asked you to do something with them. Yeah, this was when is when my articles were going viral in the Huffington Post. But it's all good. Like what happened was when I became more conservative on issues or supported President Trump. I like people on either on the left that like publications or maybe people that I was working alongside. It was just a pretty much like totally fine separation. It wasn't anything negative at all.
I hope people reach out to you. The people that like me that walked away from you, I hope that they come back and they reach out to you and say, fuck whatever your opinion is. you're a good guy, and I was wrong for turning my back on you and for not wanting to work with you or not wanting to talk to you or not wanting to associate with you. You know, it would be. I hope they start coming back.
From my vantage point, I'm cool with everybody that I was ever associated with,
Nice,
and
man, that's good.
you know, like I said, I love Tim Black. I think he's fantastic. There's a lot of fantastic YouTubers like Nico House is fantastic. Jamal Thomas is fantastic. You know, there's a lot of people that are, you know, Benjamin Dixon is fantastic. He definitely disagrees with me on everything. There's a lot of people who don't like me on the left that I never really got along with, but that's another story.
Right, right.
Jimmy Dore is absolutely fantastic. I always had a wonderful, you know, relationship or like, you know, viewpoint of Jimmy Dore. Is fantastic. You know, it's fine. It's fine. I think personally, friends that like, it's unfortunate that you have people on the left who, like, there are friendships that'll never be the same again, like from a personal level, and that's unfortunate. But that's not my fault. That's their fault, because they just turned into these, you know, crazed creatures. But yeah.
So let me just say this, man. Don't stop calling Hillary Clinton Madam Secretary. Don't stop calling Hunter Biden Caligula. Don't stop doing all the things that you do on your podcast, no matter what, because let me tell you something. Everything that you do, it makes the show, bro. Everything that you do. And I love it. And sometimes I wonder some of the driving forces behind what you do. But I've also learned, you know, questioning it sometimes isn't that necessary. It's just
let me tell you,
Go ahead.
Of the biggest driving forces is the algorithm.
How so? Oh, what you mean when you're being monitored by YouTube?
Yeah, you can't say, like, if you say like Hunter Biden or Clinton or like not that those words are banned. It doesn't mean those words are banned, but it's just like, why even take the chance? And Caligula is more accurate anyway.
Funny.
So
funny.
Yeah.
So I love that, and like I said, keep doing what you're doing, and don't stop, man.
And
don't
you as well, man. You're awesome.
Oh,
you keep doing what you're doing as well. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, it was a pleasure to have the anger translator back in the day. This was like 4 years ago, man. So I appreciate it.
And now I've watched you recently, and I realize that you don't need that anymore, brother. You express your anger perfectly, healthily on YouTube now. It's like you know what you can say, what you can get away with, and you do it really well. You know, it's part of your show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure to be here with you, and I just want to thank you for all the kind words, and just thank you for your support. And I mean, I will tell everybody about this interview on my channel and my live streams. If on the email, can you just give me the link? Well, I know you said it's going to be on 27 links or 27. Will it be on your main
16.
channel page, or just give me?
It'll be
give me whatever links it's going to be on.
naysgarden.com. It's going to be at naysgarden.com eventually. I'll link you, man. I'll make sure that you have links to the YouTube video for sure.
Awesome.
Yes. Well, because I'm gonna email you and I'm gonna get your shipping info. So you're definitely gonna hear from me real soon.
Awesome, man. Nay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, brother, and thank you for doing this for me, and doing this for my audience, and I told them that if they got to know you like I know you, they were gonna love you like I love you, man. And it just comes through, brother. And thank you for bringing it, because you do. You bring the love.
Well, Nay, you are fantastic, and keep doing what you're doing. And it's been a pleasure, a real pleasure and an honor to speak with you today.
Okay, man. You take care. And hey, how about we do this again sometime in the future? You come back?
All good.
Okay.
You know what? You know what? I would love to, when I can get to 200,000 subs, let's do this again.
Let's do it. I'll help you get there.
I would love that.
Okay.
I think that we can have a 200,000 sub celebration for me on your channel.
Okay, brother. You're on. You are on.
Awesome.
It's next week,
Awesome.
man. We're gonna do it by next week. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this in 8 days, man. We're gonna get it done on the 8th day. We will rest.
I wish. I wish. Well, thank you, Nate. Thanks so much, man.
Absolutely, brother.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, take care. See you on your podcast. What's up, everybody? Did you guys enjoy that? How long did we get him on here for? 2 hours? We got him to stay for... It's not too late to call my mom, man. It's like I want to call my mom. I want to call my mom. It's 9 o'clock, man. I can call my mom. Oh, man. I can call my mom, man. Jeez. Wow, man. Oh. I'm so freaking stoked. I'm so stoked. Hi, I hope it's not too late to call. Okay, so, I love you. Good, so, I just had H.A. Goodman on my show. I did a 2-hour interview with him, so that's going to be available for you to watch anytime on any one of my channels. I think you're really going to like it, and the sound is really good. Everything is really good. It starts from the very beginning, and he has been on CNN and MSNBC. He's appeared as, he's been on the news. He's an author. He's written 5 books, and he's about all kinds of stuff, different things. He's done fiction and politics stuff, but he also did what was I just going to tell you? Oh my goodness. It just slipped my mind all of a sudden. He wrote for the Jerusalem Post. He's published in the Jerusalem Post. Hey, Eric H526, the admin from H.A. Goodman. What's up, brother? Don't leave. Don't leave, Eric. Don't leave. Stay. That's so funny. So, just did 2 hours with him. So, I hope you get a chance, maybe see it, but I'm just really excited because when he does, when I do podcasting, I get like 40 people watching on a really good night. When he goes live and has a good night, he has like 3,000 people watching him. And he does it like every night. So it's really good for, exposure, and he's a really neat guy. We completely disagree politically, but he's a very nice person, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, I just want to tell you, what's that? I'm not going to say that. I love you. I have to go. Okay, take care, Mom. Bye-bye. She says, is he a Trump supporter? I didn't say, because I know if I say, she might not watch. So I have a feeling that after she catches on to the interview, she might turn it off. Oh my God, Eric H526. Bro, did you like it, man? Did I do good? Are you feeling the love, bro? Man, Eric, you've got me blocked on a couple of my channels on H.A. Goodman's channel. I don't know if you have the ability to unblock me, but if you do, man, it's Trendy As Dabbers, Trendy Nay, Nace, Trendy Nay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Day Trendy Nation. Who knows? I've come in on some of my Nay's Garden channels, bro, and I can't super chat in there. So could you just check and see? I don't know how bad your block list is in there, or how much of a pain it is to check. But I would love to. I like dropping $20 bills on H.A. Goodman. So if I could do it on more channels, it would really help, because I can't keep track of which channels I can do it on, because it only works on certain channels. I'm taking an antacid. What? Shut up, you. Very good. I told my mom, I gotta go. Eric H, 526. H.A. Goodman admin. Can I do this bong rip for you, bro? Just for you. I love you guys. You guys do a great job over there. You know, you blocked me, and I deserved it. I knew I was going to get blocked when I did it. I wasn't that mad when I got blocked. I'll even remind you what I said when you guys blocked me. I came in on one of my channels, 2 different channels. It happened over a period of a week. I came back like a week later on another channel. H.A. Goodman said something, and I totally disagreed with him in the chat. I totally disagreed and said some snarky little comment to boot. And you guys got me so fucking quick, man. It was like poof. I was like, damn, they're good, man. Now I've noticed you guys aren't as, what I would say, strict. Eric? Oh, maybe Eric already left. He's not even saying anything. Anyway, we'll smoke for Eric anyway, whether he left or not. It seems like it's not as much as of an echo chamber in that chat. And that is healthy. And that works for everybody. It works a lot better. I know it's not always fun to listen to opposing opinions. But man, my channel, it was like that for a long time. And I realized I was doing the wrong thing, man. I needed to let people breathe, man, you know, that had different opinions than me. I had to let them breathe. And I think I've noticed that over there. I like that, man. I like that you guys do that. But maybe if you can unblock me. It won't even let me fucking drop 20s on it. It's crazy. Do you think... I mean, dude, if I block somebody on my chat, but they're trying to throw me a $20 bill, I would hope YouTube... They're getting a cut of it. I would hope YouTube would let the $20 bill flow through, you know? Fuck. Fucking idiots. That's their business model? Really, that's your fucking business model. You fucking idiots. Make it so people can't drop money on people. It's like, wow. Cheers. Eric, sorry you left. If you left, buddy, this is for you. Hey, wasn't that right? He's a nice guy. You know? Who fucking cares what his opinion is? He's a nice person. He's an interesting person. He's done a lot, and he inspires me. You know, my uncle that was a Trump supporter, he inspired me too. I think he was a Trump supporter. I don't know. He used to watch Fox News like religiously. I think he was a Trump supporter. I think my cousin told me he was a Trump supporter. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Even though he died. I'm okay with that because he loved people, man. My uncle loved everybody equally. He wasn't racist at all. And I think maybe he felt like Donald Trump, you know, being that my uncle was a corporate guy, was giving him more money that he could spend on helping people like he liked to do. And he liked that about Donald Trump, you know. I just felt like, you know, the programs that some people needed shouldn't have been scuttled, you know. Meals on Wheels, homeless shelters, things like that, man. I tagged Ron, Graham, Steph Lee, and Jimmy. You what? You are an amazing interviewer, Aaron Scott. Well, I hope that some of them will come and watch the interview with H.A. Goodman. I have a feeling that you know who you could tag, Doc? You could tag status coup Jordan Sheridan. Jordan Sheridan, like the hotel. Tag him because he's interviewed H.A. Goodman. I was watching that interview. It's really good. You know, Jordan Sheridan is he's very good at being silent and letting the other people speak. I love that, man. I love an interviewer that can shut their fucking fat mouth and let the other person speak. It's one of my favorite parts of watching an interview is being able to hear everything clearly. You know, and it doesn't matter whether you're agreeing or disagreeing. You don't want to hear somebody talking over the top of somebody else. Makes it almost impossible to understand. My hearing's not that great to begin with. Yeah, I just realized I've been sitting here for a few hours. I probably need to let my doggy dog out. He seems to be Rogie, you sleeping, buddy? You want to go outside? You need to go pee outside? Are you okay? He's like, yeah. He's like, I ain't like you, old man. I could sit here all day and not have to frickin' pee. He's got a great bladder on him, this dog. He can hold his pee all day. One day I took him out in the morning to pee, and I swear he fucking stood there for over 2 minutes. Fucking peed straight. A river. For 2 fucking minutes. And let me tell you something. When he was done, I said, damn, I probably should have taken him out last night before I brought him in. But he was able to hold it all night, man. That dog he's amazing. He's got a great bladder on him. He's a good doggy. Rogie's a good doggy. Wonder if he's hungry. See his ears? Hungry? Hungry? Somebody say hungry? What you got a hungry? You tagged Jordan Sheridan? Doc, thank you, buddy. That's cool, bro. That's cool, man. Yeah, man, let people come check out the video and see that it's okay to have differing opinions. We need to all get along. You know, he said you can't get along with these crazy Democrats. At one point he said, that's what we need to do. You know, and then we start talking about that. We need to, I mean, I understand that you can't agree, but we have to be able to disagree without hitting each other in the streets. And he's like, yeah, make America get along. Yeah, okay, I get it. You know, we're starting. If he passes that along to his audience, you know, instead of, hey, we gotta fight, you know, we won this election, and we need to fight. And instead of going from that to, we won this election, they're wrong, we're right, we need to protest. It's just a little nuance there, you know? And he understands being an author. He understands it. He understands nuance. You know, I got through almost all the questions I had for him. I only skipped a few that were a little too digging, a little too forward, and I thought they were a little too prying. Not personal, they were political, and I didn't want to, you know, get him going like he does on his show. I don't want to do that. You guys can see him do that on every show. He gets into it, and he has nice chill moments with the audience. He's very chill, man. He's a very nice guy. And he's funny. He's so funny. That was one of the things I wish we had talked about. He does all these voices, and he does them so good. He does Mitch McConnell. He does Nancy Pelosi. He does Hillary Clinton. He does oh god, he does Bill Clinton really good. He does Bill Clinton really good. Oh yeah, he's coming back. He said, I asked him, I was like, will you come back, brother? He's like, oh yeah. He said, we'll come back when I hit 200,000 subs. He's at 155,000 right now. I was like, I'll help you. I'll help you get to 200,000 so we can have that interview soon, you know? So, man, I'm so excited about my Jeep. I got it all running really good. It's just that third gear problem. I've just about figured out that it's not my vacuum pressure in the turbo. I'm pretty sure it's not that. I don't think there's a leak. I think that it's going to be my tuning, man. I think that's what it's going to be, but I'm not in a hurry. to send the I'm not in a hurry to. I wanted to get this interview done, and I wanted to fucking play with that Jeep, man. Maybe I could take it to a local mechanic, and maybe they could just look at it really fast and fix it. Maybe it's something really stupid. I want you guys, if any of you guys have any mechanical experience with this kind of problem I'm having, to offer me, you know, an idea what I might be able to try to get this thing fixed. It's when I'm rolling, when I'm going 5, 10, 15 miles an hour, it won't go all the way down into first gear when I punch the accelerator. It won't drop down into first gear like it should. If I'm stopped at a dead stop and I'm in drive and I hit the accelerator, it starts first gear, second gear, it'll do it. It'll go through first and second gear just fine. But if I'm rolling it, it should drop down. What's going on? Wishbone in the shifting mechanism. I was a tech for over 21 years, says Nick. Get it mapped and tuned. I've got a tuning for it, but I was having problems before I broke the nipple off the wastegate on the turbo. Now, if I shift it down into first gear, I can get it to drop down into usually second gear, and I can get it to hold second and third pretty good. If I hold it down, I can even get it if I start from a standstill and I drop it down into L1, I can hold first gear all the way up to 4,000, 4K. It'll stay. And then I'll put it in second. It'll click down into second. It'll go all the way up to 4K. Again, 4,000 RPM. It'll go up to 4,000 RPM and start, just staying there. And then if I put it in third, it's touch and go. Sometimes it'll run all of third gear, or sometimes it'll just go third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and go 30 miles an hour in sixth gear, and it won't accelerate. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's intermittent as fuck. Sometimes it'll race, but man, my top speed clocked, I think, is 63 miles an hour. It's supposed to go 75 or 80. So it could be a turbo boost issue, right? Could be a turbo boost leak issue. They're all like boost leak, boost leak, boost leak. Get this, get that, get this, get that. I got all these parts put on. I don't know if there's a boost leak, so I'm waiting for the boost gauge so I can find out. Do every mechanic shops have boost gauges? Is that a common thing in a mechanic shop? Sounds like tuning or software, says Nick. Really? Everyone's like, send it off to this other guy, man. The guy's it's called Diesel Freak. If you send your unit to Diesel Freak, that guy tunes it, your shit will run fantastic, bro. You'll fucking have all of third gear and all of every gear. It'll drive so good. Turbo issues. If it's a turbo, I don't know if it's a turbo issue. Are usually lag or no boost. Well, I put a hose on the wastegate and put a screw in it. So it shouldn't be a boost problem out the wastegate, and I don't know what's up with third gear, man. My neighbor's like, you need to re-gear your rear end. He's like, if you just re-gear the rear end, bro, you'll be fine. Change your gearing. He's like, that's all you need to do. I'm like, okay. Why won't it race out in sixth gear, though? Turbo lines and rubber clamps. You said wishbone in the shifting mechanics or something. Then you said turbo lines and rubber clamps. Cranky old man 420, you're not really giving me full sentences, bro. Are you telling me that you have to have those hoses, have to have hose clamps on them, or it's gonna leak out? It's the wastegate. I thought the wastegate only opened up when you hit like really high turbo boost. You know, only opened up at the very end. I mean, I should be able to wind my gears out though, right? Why can't I wind out third gear? Why can't I wind out first and second? And does that have anything to do with the fact that I've got L1 and L2 and drive on my automatic transmission? Or could it be that I'm low on transmission fluid, on automatic transmission fluid? Or could it be the cable that goes from the automatic transmission shifter? Yes, wastegate controls overboost. So it's really like, it really wouldn't be a problem of just when I'm going from 0 to 3,500 RPM, right? Have you guys seen my Rockster, man? I took a picture of it, man. We got to get this thing running, everybody. You guys got to help me. It's got to be our mission to get this thing running good and strong. Could be the kickdown cable. Was it like that before the lift? Yes. Yes, it was doing this before the lift. What is the kickdown cable? What is the kickdown cable? Does that go into the transmission case? Or is that something that's under the hood? Near the turbo? Dude, because it feels like when I hit the accelerator all the way down to the floor, there's nothing there. It's wah, and if I go wah 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 wah, sometimes I can get it. You know, if I go what with the accelerator, or if I, like I said, if I'm going up a hill and it's just going 25 miles an hour and it won't go any faster in any gear, I'll go to a complete stop. I'll put it in low. And I go, and then I'll put it in second gear, and I gotta leave it in second gear, and I get up to like 30 miles an hour. And sometimes I can drop it into third gear, and it'll go. Sometimes it won't go. Like I said, it's intermittent. Kickdown controls the drop of gearing to RPM range. Your daughter seen it and loved it, Megsy? Oh, really? Cool. Let me see here. Kickdown cable. Rockster. Kickdown cable. Let me see if anything comes up. How do I remove kickdown cable? What is a kickdown cable? It's mounted to the carburetor, or in the case of fuel-injected vehicles, the throttle body. It runs from the butterfly arm on the carb down to the side of the transmission, where it attaches to an arm that allows the transmission to shift gears. Dude, that's gotta be it, man. It seems like that's it. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine if it was just like off and I just had to... The kickdown controls the drop of gearing. The kickdown controls the drop of gearing to RPM range. That's what I need, man. I need to fix the drop of gearing to RPM range. And the guy that does the tuning says, dude, we don't do gearing in the RP. We don't, when we tune, we're not tuning your gears. We're tuning your motor. We're tuning your overall horsepower. We're not tuning your fucking gears. It's not part of the tune. So he said, even though somebody that had him tune it said it fixed his gear problem, his was doing the same thing. But mine was doing it before. Operator air RPM kill switch in BrainBox are set to low. Sounds like it needs to reset to better performance. ECU controlled, it's built into throttle control sensor. Throttle position sensor. Where is my throttle position sensor? Oh, Roxer throttle position sensor. Mahindra Roxer throttle position sensor. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Dude. Whoa, wait. Let me see what this is. On a Jeep. How to install the throttle position sensor.
Right now we're going to change the throttle position sensor on a Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is the throttle position sensor is right back here by the intake. There's this little mechanism out there.
Okay.
There's two screws, one on here, one on the other side. And that actual bit that you need to take it off looks like this. It's not.
Dude, I think it's my throttle position sensor. Accelerator pedal. Huh. Vehicle speed sensor. Roxer, there's a vehicle speed sensor. You can adjust the position of the sensor? What? Adjust. Okay, let me see. How to adjust throttle position sensor. There is a fuel temperature harness that you plug in between your fuel temp sensor and your wiring. There will be no more turbo lag, virtually eliminated. Huh. Cat adjustment power harness. Rest it. Reset it. Is it fly-by wire on your accelerator pedal, or is it cable driven? Jeffrey Barkley says, I am here. What do you need? We're talking about the throttle position sensor. This is on a Subaru, which I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar. Let me see if I can find the adjustment part on here.
What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Homebrew Subaru. I kind of need to check the circuit because I'm not sure exactly what's what. Like my wiring diagram doesn't really show me. So just looking at the wiring colors that are actually on the TPS sensor, we've got a black, white, and pink wire. I would assume the black wire is more than likely the ground.
Huh.
The white wire would be the signal return.
Huh.
And the pink wire should be our 5-volt reference. So I'm going to do a little bit of wiring checks. And then we can actually check to see where the TPS is sitting at rest.
Huh.
Okay, so I've got this kind of set up. I think I can start checking it. I've got a backprobe into the circuit of that middle wire, which I believe is the signal return. And I have my meter set to voltage, the ground circuit hooked up to ground. You can just verify that we have some battery power. So I do have the battery on charge right now. It's showing 13.34 volts. So good battery voltage. The key is on and the ECU is powered up.
What's it doing? It's not sensing where my accelerator is. It's like it doesn't know when to downshift. And it's like, I'm thinking it might be bad throttle position sensor. It regulates how much air is coming into the engine. If it stopped working, your engine will not run smoothly. It won't idle correctly. It would die when in gear. Oh, that doesn't sound like what my thing's doing. Maybe it's not it. I don't know, man. I want to try to exhaust all possibilities, because if it's something I can just do, you know?
So there, we've gone a little bit too far. We're at 0.58. We're looking for 0.46.
He's just moving the whole...
0.48. That's very close.
Wow, he's moving the whole
A
thing.
little bit too far. I'll just squeak it up a little bit.
Huh.
It's actually just by putting the weight of your hand on it almost.
No, I don't think it's the transmission. It's brand new, man. It's fucking brand new. Yeah, we were talking about the kickdown cable, but I don't know exactly where the kickdown cable is, you know, and or how to adjust it, or if that's the issue. Oh, David, you just came across the live? Are you a mechanic too? We've got like 4 mechanics in here now. If the sensor isn't positioned correctly, it won't send a signal to change the gear to a lower gear. That's what's going on. It won't. It doesn't know when to drop down. It doesn't know when to, right? So if I'm rolling at 20 miles an hour or 15 miles an hour, and I'm not on the power at all, and I hit it, you would think it would go down to first gear or at least second gear, you know, and sense that. The speed. You build custom Jeeps? I have a Mahindra Roxor, and it's a 2.5 liter diesel, turbo diesel. I'm having a problem with it not sensing when it's that's incorrect info. At wide open throttle, it should drop a gear or two, right? It won't. It just goes. It'll go first gear, second gear. It'll wind out second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, and sometimes it'll just roll at like 30 miles an hour like that, and it won't go any faster. And sometimes it'll fucking wind out all 6 gears. Sometimes it's intermittent. Sometimes it works. If I'm going up a hill, it'll almost never work. It'll up hills. The only thing I can do is go to a complete stop, dead stop, 0 mile an hour, put it in first gear, wind out first gear, wind out second gear, and leave it in second gear if I want to climb at 30 miles an hour. I can't go much faster than that in second gear. And then sometimes I can push it into third and it'll go. And sometimes it won't go. Did I check my throttle cable? I don't know how to check these things. David Long says synchronizer. What is the synchronizer, and is it something that I can put my hands on and put a wrench on or adjust or anything? Because it is not sensing. It's not sensing where I'm pressing the accelerator, or it's not. Because, I mean, the gas works, but it won't downshift sometimes, and sometimes it will. Sometimes it runs great. No, it did not start after the tire swap. This has been doing it since before. I don't know if it was doing it before I got it tuned. I remember pulling it up to 43 miles an hour. It would only go 43 miles an hour up a hill. It didn't seem to have a problem. I got it tuned You know, so it would go 70 miles an hour, and now it'll only go 63. But I get it on a flat straightaway. I can get it up to 63 miles an hour. You need a good transmission shop that should be covered under warranty. I didn't buy it from a dealer. I bought it used with 5 miles on it. Cable is self-adjusting. A loose or sticky throttle cable can do that, but all vehicles are different. This is interesting. It's like at night, you know, sometimes I just go out and I take it down these roads where I have problems, and I try, and man, it's a problem, man. You know, I should be able to go about 20 miles an hour faster. I should be able to flip it into third gear and have it not lose power in third gear. Take me to the Jeep. We will walk through it. Possibly factory warranty, says David Lung. Not after you tune it. Throttle position sensor. You know, I have a feeling once you jack up a truck 5.5 inches and put a fucking aftermarket tune on the ECM, I have a feeling that you do not have warranty anymore, bro. Throttle position sensor. Yes, throttle position sensor. Yes. Will it rev up fine in neutral? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it'll rev up fine in first gear and second gear. It revs up fine in neutral. I guarantee it, man. I'll put that thing in neutral. I bet you I can rev it up. Yup. If I find anything, it's nothing to do with gearing or synchronization. More than likely ECU controlling, sensor, or kickdown cable adjustment. Could be. Where is the goddamn cable? You guys keep saying kickdown cable, kickdown cable, kickdown cable. Can I touch it? Where is it? Is it under the hood, or is it that cable that I see going down to the side of my transmission case? What is the goddamn kickdown cable? God damn it. Could be something as little as a vacuum leak, but definitely should check that out in case it's drivetrain. Could be vacuum leak, says Love Chance. No way, my Jeep has 20G in mods and they still warranty my Jeep. It's not a Jeep, it's a Mahindra Roxor. My Jeep's kickdown cable was loose. Where's the fucking kickdown cable at? You motherfuckers. Tell me where it is. God damn it. Under the hood, lined to your throttle. Okay. Okay. It'll be connected to the throttle and run down to the transmission. It'll be connected to a lever. Okay. Now, should I do anything when I see that lever, guys? Should I try to work it with my hand, or should I try to spray like, liquid wrench on it, or WD-40? What do you guys recommend I do? Because I've seen that cable and it looks straight. So just follow it up from the transmission. Oh, let me let my cat. You hanging in there, buddy? You're doing a really good job. I gotta let him out. All right, you guys that are on Facebook, I'll go live on my main Facebook channel, maybe from the Rockster, and you guys might be able to help me from the cell phone, like Nick Brown is saying. So stand by after I do the show, and if I go live on that Facebook channel, you know, you guys can help me find that cable. Linked. Nick is right. Just look for slack. Yup, grime can get into the cable. That's all. Open the throttle up and see if you see it sticking. Have a friend watch the lever while you push the throttle all the way down. Okay? My friend Brad or my friend Chris or Mark can do it. Or Dino if he comes over. And just see what the lever's doing. I can even put my cell phone on there, you know, and take video of it so I can go watch the video and see what it does. What am I looking for? If it's loose like a, if it's tight, is there a adjustment to turn like a, you get it with a little wrench and turn it and make it tighter? Kick down cable, throttle position, rocks or throttle position. Okay, kick down. Rocks or kick down cable adjustment. Kick down cable adjustment on the Jeep. Jeep forum. It should be tight, no slack. I'm looking at videos right now. An XJ. Here, I'm going to look at an XJ. Maybe it's a turbo diesel.
Hey guys, Devin here with Admiral Off-Road, and today we're going to be adjusting our TV cable, also known as our kickdown cable. Let's get started.
TV cable.
This right here is our TV cable. Cool. It's connected to our throttle linkage,
Okay.
as well as our throttle cable,
Okay.
and our cruise control cable right here.
Okay.
If you don't have cruise control, obviously you won't have this cable.
Okay.
And the way it works is when you push down on the throttle, it moves our linkage, and it pulls this cable in and out.
Okay.
The TV cable lets the transmission know when to shift. So if your shifts feel off or they're really slow, like it takes forever to get into your next gear, this might be your problem. It might be out of adjustment.
Okay.
The fix is really easy. All you do is you push down on this button right here, and then you slide this plunger all the way up as far as you can go. When you release the button, the plunger can't move anymore, and it's locked in place.
Dude, do I have one of those? Oh my god, bro. Fuck. I should just run out to my truck right now. You guys want to hang out? Let me just run out there really fast and see if I have that. Cable looks like that. I think I got this. I see where it is. It's going across. Well, on that motor, it's going across the top of the motor, and it's just right to the right of it. Give me a second, man. I'm just gonna walk out there. With a flashlight really fast and just see. Just chill here for 1 second. And I'm just gonna see, man. think they put that. I think they fucking put that throttle all the way underneath that motherfucker, bro. It is so hard to see it. I was all over. It's not on the top of the motor. It's a diesel. It's fucking different. And, you know, I need to look at a diesel kickdown cable. Diesel kickdown cable. Maybe, because I couldn't even see the fucking throttle, man. I don't even know where the fucking throttle is. TV cable. Everybody calls it the TV cable. Okay. Huh. They're interesting. This is a very common thing. Follow the turbo tubing to the throttle body. I don't know where the fucking throttle body is. Operator's guide. Fuck. God damn it. I don't know, man. Top of engine? Bullshit, dude. There's nothing on the goddamn top of that motor. Dude, there's nothing on the top of the fucking motor. Why is it so hard to find this on the internet, man? God damn it. Wow. Has a cover over it, you think? Dude, there's nothing there. I don't know, man. I think it's underneath it, man. I think it's underneath the goddamn motor, bro. I need a goddamn schematic of the fucking... It's so hard to find where things are on the goddamn thing. Oh. Fuel coming from the top. Bro, it's like the turbo's got, I mean, the diesel's got fuel injection, right? It's fuel injected. Is that what all those things are on the top? There's like these valves. There's these valves with these metal tubes going into them, and there's a little electronic sensor going to each one. That's all that's on top of that motor, dude. I can't find a goddamn throttle cable, anything. Roxor Operator's Guide. I need to find the fucking goddamn cable before I can adjust it or even check to see if it's okay. Right? Oh, fuck. Why is it so hard to find a picture of the goddamn motor on the internet? Oh, here we go. Here's a picture of it. All right, dude. Great. That is it. Here, man, I got a good photo of it, man. Here, I'm going to show you guys, and you tell me if you can spot it on here, okay? Here we go. Oh, this is great. All right. You guys, you look at this and you tell me it's a great picture, man. You tell me if you could spot anything that looks like the throttle up in this motherfucker, and I'll show you what I saw. You know, and I'll tell you what it was I noticed. Okay. Now, right over here, there's these valves. See these valves right here? There's one there. Here, there's a line that goes down here, and then it goes down through this. I didn't know if this was like fuel injection right here. And then way over here, man, this black thing, I'm thinking this might actually be the throttle housing. This way over here, but it's covered, you know, it's got this cap over it. I don't know what this is, but I was looking at all this coming out of it, and it seems like the cable comes all the way from down where your accelerator pedal is, but I'm just not 100% sure. This thing way in the corner right here. See the intake on the left side? the intake on the left side, the turbo right here, this gold turbo thing. Is this what you're talking about? Are you talking about something over in this area? Like right here, like this wire right here? I don't think that's it, man. But yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, from the filter, air filter right here. It goes in right here. This is the air filter system. Goes in here. Looks like it goes like into the turbo right here. Can I make the picture bigger? I could zoom in on certain parts of it. Here, give me a second. Here, I'll zoom in. Give me a second here. Here, check this out. I'll zoom in on a lower section of it for you. How's this? How's that? Is that better? Oops. There, how's that? Oh. Where the gold pipe goes to the rubber and angles down. That's the throttle body? No, that is the turbo. I'm pretty sure that's not the throttle body, bro. Nick, I'm pretty sure that's the turbo, bro. That's the turbo intake right there. I know, because I just replaced replaced the intake manifold right there on the turbo. It's not, there's no throttle stuff there. Back towards the firewall? How's that? Yeah. pretty sure there's no adjustable cables there, bro. I don't know what you're looking at. You're talking about the turbo manifold, man? There's no cables there that I'm aware of. We're just sitting here, guys. Nick, are you gonna say anything or what? Punch in location of the TV cable on a 2.5 turbo diesel. Then it's all ECU driven. You have a fly-by acceleration. Are you telling me there's no throttle? It's all... Oh! Oh! There's no throttle, man! There's no throttle assembly because there's no fucking throttle cable because it's just fucking electronic. It just goes into the goddamn ECU. This motor doesn't have a fucking throttle on it. So there's no kickdown cable? I don't know what you're talking about, Love Chance. It's a Mahindra Roxor. 2.5 liter turbo diesel. Electronic throttle. Oh my god. Right? So I should probably send the tune off, man. No kickdown cable? My computer's sick, man. Fucking A. Whatever, dude. Not too happy about it right now. That's why there's nothing on the internet about it. Because it doesn't exist. So no kickdown cable. Ugh, God. That means I gotta ship it back to the guys that fucked it up. You know? They're just gonna send it back to me. It's gonna do the same goddamn thing. They don't even have to ship it to somebody else. I should just tell them to give me my fucking money back so I can ship it to this other guy. See if they mapped something wrong. This shit's pretty cut and dry, bro. It's not rocket science for them to program one of these things, you know? It's... And what's crazy is sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. They're like, maybe it's going into limp mode. You know, when you're not wearing your seatbelt, they're supposed to turn that off. But I wear my seatbelt and it still does it. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I hate to not be able to drive it for a few days. I don't know if anybody has the ability to test a goddamn ECM or whatever the fuck they're called. LCM, I forget what they're called. ECU, ECM. I don't know. I don't know if anybody in town can do it. Have to ship it out to the people that fucked it up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm upset, man. I'm upset about it. But there is, I guess, a throttle control. There is a little throttle control module or something in there, I do believe. I just don't know where it is exactly. Maybe I should look at the accelerator pedal and see if the cable's like plugged in all the way on the accelerator cable. You know? Maybe it's loose. Maybe the cable that goes into the accelerator is loose. You know, there's a big electronic harness that goes in right there. I'll find what? When there's sunlight, I'll find what, love? What are you talking about? Limp mode is second gear. Only. Or for wet when your leg did. Huh? Sounds crazy, but check all your battery connections and grounds. What kind of transmission do you have? It's like a standard fucking transmission for like it's a 6-speed automatic transmission, and it's a common transmission. You can find them in other cars. Like Saab uses them, and I believe Subaru uses the same transmission, I believe. No, man, it's been doing this since fucking, dude, forever. It's been doing this for a long time. Since way before it ever got wet. It's I think called an 8 something on the side. I can't remember the number, like 860 or something. Okay, if it's electronically controlled, there's no kick down cable. Oh, great. So, the guy that did the deal for me, his name's Josh. He says if I ship him my ECU, he will ship out his personal ECU so I can use his while mine's getting worked on. And he says I could try his and see if that fixes the problem. Are you guys done? Have you guys exhausted all of your knowledge? Anything else? I think I'm gonna move on. You guys, thank you so much for this fantastic interview. And thank you to H.A. Goodman. He's great. And I hope you guys will start, going and following these people that I'm asking you to follow. I'd appreciate it so much. Yeah, I figured it's ECU. I mean, to begin with. Trying to fucking find out if it was something else before I send the ECU to this guy, you know, so I can drive the vehicle. Can't drive the vehicle without the ECU. It's bullshit. Who does that to a fucking car? You know, you make the whole goddamn car rely on one fucking thing, a computer. And if the computer fails, then the whole fucking car fails. That's just fucking stupid. Fucking idiots. You know, I thought it was more basic than that, and I was hoping it was. I didn't realize when I bought it, it was all controlled by a fucking computer. A computer that's failing, obviously. Yeah, the computer should know when I'm going 20 miles an hour in 6th gear. You know, the computer should be like, hey, wait, we're only going 20 miles an hour in 6th gear. We should probably kick this down into 3rd. It should know that just by the fucking speed. Just by the fucking speed. Right? It's like it doesn't know how fast it's going. If it knew it was going 20 miles an hour, it would kick down to 3rd gear, right? With the fucking electronics. No answer. No answer from you guys. Alright, well, I guess I've exhausted you guys' knowledge base, so I'm gonna go. Thanks for trying, guys. I will go, I will work on it, I will see what we can do, and then I will ship that goddamn ECU out eventually, I'm sure. It's not telling the TCM to shift down. Right? A Jeep Colorado tranny? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. Wouldn't it be crazy if I just needed some transmission fluid? Like if it just had low transmission fluid in it? No one suggested that. Even though I said it. No one agrees with me. That it could be low transmission fluid. Right out of the factory. Maybe they don't put enough in there out of the factory and you're supposed to top all that off. And maybe the dealer didn't do it. You know? ATF, automatic transmission fluid. No answer from you guys. You're trying to say it's the Chevy Colorado transmission. Yeah, not a Jeep Colorado, Chevy Colorado. Yeah, that sounds right. Probably is. So you guys aren't thinking it's low automatic transmission fluid, I guess. Alright. I'm gonna go, guys. I'll let you know how it goes. Check out my friend Ron Placone. RonPlacone.com and LucyandRon.com. Get your news on with Ron on Ron Placone on his YouTube channel. And send him articles at Ron Placone on Twitter. Check him out. Tell him I sent you. Go to naysgarden.com for all these interviews, man. There's a bunch of them. H.A. Goodman will be added soon enough. All right. And go check out H.A. Goodman. Once again, thank you to him for making this possible. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed the 3-hour, 25-minute video. Bye, guys. It would slip and bang into gears if it was fluid. Okay. Okay, it doesn't really do that.